20 when it comes to being me. I'm a time traveler, so Alonzi. I'm a badass asexual polyhedral disorder and proud to be. I'm a flying ace and fly through outer space. Hello, sweetie. I'm a badass asexual polyhedral disorder and proud to be. I'm a flying ace and fly through outer space. Hello, sweetie. I'm a badass asexual polyhedral disorder. I'm proud to be. I'm a flying ace and fly through outer space. Hello, sweetie. I'm a badass asexual polyhedral disorder. I'm proud to be. In whatever sitch, like singing on Twitch or playing D&D. I'm a badass asexual polyhedral disorder. You may call me obsessive, but I just border on being a collector and being a dragon that sits atop my treasure. That's so shiny. I'm a badass asexual polyhedral disorder, and my partners love me for it. I'm a natural 20 when it comes to being me. I'm a time traveler, so Alonzi. I'm a badass asexual polyhedral disorder and proud to be. I'm a flying ace and fly through outer space. Hello, sweetie. I'm a badass asexual polyhedral disorder and proud to be. I'm a flying ace and fly through outer space. Hello, sweetie. I'm a badass asexual polyhedral disorder. I'm proud to be. I'm a flying ace and fly through outer space. Hello, sweetie. I'm a badass asexual polyhedral disorder. I'm proud to be. In whatever sitch, like singing on Twitch or playing D&D. I'm a badass asexual polyhedral disorder. You may call me obsessive, but I just border on being a collector and being a dragon that sits atop my treasure. That's so shiny. I'm a badass asexual polyhedral disorder, and my partners love me for it. I'm a natural 20 when it comes to being me. I'm a time traveler, so Alonzi. I'm a badass asexual polyhedral disorder and proud to be. I'm a flying ace and fly through outer space. Hello, sweetie. I'm a badass asexual polyhedral disorder and proud to be. I'm a flying ace and fly through outer space. Hello, sweetie. I'm a badass asexual polyhedral disorder. I'm proud to be. I'm a flying ace and fly through outer space. Hello, sweetie. I'm a badass asexual polyhedral disorder. I'm proud to be. In whatever sitch, like singing on Twitch or playing D&D. I'm a badass asexual polyhedral disorder. You may.
Hi friends, so I'm working on a little bit of connectivity issue for Kayla, who is joining us, or should be joining us tonight, but she's been having issues with Discord, so I'm gonna see if I can fix that briefly. Also, how you doing, Takashi Naruto? Suspicious initials. Welcome, welcome. Let me. Oh, suspicious initials. I owe you the sub song. Let me do that after I see if I can get Kayla in here. Let's see. That was going to. We have to go to the. RTC connection. No, not there. It was under like. It was under server settings, right, David?
Let me go to a server where I have admin rights. Yeah, it's under server settings, top right.
Top right.
Yeah.
What? I don't have anything in the top right. Oh, right, the server region. Okay.
Yeah, server region.
Okay, well, let's try this then. Okay. Let me see if we can get Kayla in here. Okay, so pass that along. And meanwhile, let me get River. I can sit down. I can use River, even though I don't have my strap.
Hello, Kayla. Are you there? Nope.
People with my
That's a negative.
That's a better sound to me. So suspicious initials. Thank you again for that first time sub the other night. Allow me to sing you the song of my people, and by my people I mean the people who subbed to my channel for the first time. I appreciate you. It's not much, but I try. Hey, suspicious initials. The truth is, I don't need validation, but it's a nice thing to have on occasion. So thank you for that special ovation in the form of monetary donation. That's what I call a sub in this melodic narration. Hope you enjoy my set of cutesy illustrations, emotes, so please take my lyrical elation. Thank you, friend, you're fucking awesome, and I hope you find $20 on the ground. That's it. Short and sweet, gotta keep it easy. Thank you again. And I don't know why the heck my toggle didn't work there. Now it works. Jeez. Yay, good, I'm glad you liked it.
We are still short one, Kayla.
Is she? Let's see. Let me see.
She did connect for a sec, I think, while you were getting the uke.
Okay. Okay, so she's using her computer, but it isn't working. What? What audio in your settings does it say Discord is using? Because that gets changed sometimes. And that would do it. If the output got adjusted. Yeah, this is fine. Everything is fine.
Everything is always fine. Nothing is ever not fine.
Certainly. There always has to be at least one technical issue in any stream. And tonight,
Of course.
I remembered to turn on my chat bot ahead of stream, so it had to be something different than that for a change.
Haha!
Like you do. You know, I probably put down the wrong scripts for tonight. Oh, really? I have to redo all my tokens again. Damn it.
Which tokens?
Connecting to Twitch. Boo. They make you redo it like every month or so.
That's annoying.
Mm-hmm. Especially when you're forced to use two-factor authentication.
Oh, doubly annoying.
see. I swear we'll get to this game. There we go. Okay, reconnected my bot.
Oh, dope. Okay, I don't have to rush this application. Very nice. When it sounded like she just couldn't connect at all to the call. She's just getting an RTC connecting.
Oh,
And
I thought she said you couldn't hear anything when she was in.
she says it's just been doing this RTC connecting thing and I can't hear anything.
Fun.
Very fun. So Discord hates us. What else is new?
Yeah, sounds about right. So how are you, chat friends? While we work this out and get our third voice actor.
Calling us voice actors is a bit of a strong description of us.
Well, we're acting through the characters with our voices. What else do we call it right now? I didn't say professional. I connect but can't hear and or speak. That's what I thought.
You are the only professional voice actor of us.
I'm not really. I did wall of work once.
It still counts.
Definitely counts.
Yes!
Hey, there we go.
Did it work? Oh, what happened?
I pressed buttons randomly and it worked.
Okay. Okay.
Solid.
No. Something with an audio subsystem and legacy. I have no idea. I went to Google and said, "Hey, do these 7 steps."
Well, it
Do
worked.
These 7 different fixes.
That's what
This
counts.
was 6 out of 7. I went through 5 of them first.
I should learn the Russian accent. I hold. Yes.
Yes, it's very nice.
Oh fuck.
What?
Right.
What?
No. It's Brent.
Oh.
I keep forgetting what your Twitch name is.
Hi, Brett.
Oh, that makes sense. I was like, wait, how is he here? How is Brent's character? What? Someone else? That's a thing? I legit thought it was a thing that people just did.
Oh my god. I can't remember like names to Twitch names unless I learned the Twitch name
Are
first.
you supposed to be running a game right now?
Yeah, what the
How are you here? You're
fuck?
running a game.
Shit. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, solve the puzzle to the digital route, and we got Kayla's voice working. Perfect.
Seems legit, I guess.
Waiting on people to trickle in. Okay.
Sounds sus.
That sounds right for her.
I mean, very true.
That sounds
Probably waiting
right.
for another like 20, 25 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, what the? I totally moved my all the people's. Damn it! One second. I'm gonna move our box of voices down so it's not overlapping the chat box on my overlay because I fixed that last time and apparently it didn't save. So let's just do that, shall we? That's better.
Kayla.
You saw nothing.
What happened?
Oh, you know.
What did you do?
I need to multitask, okay? Leave me alone.
God. Okay. No, focus. We're focusing on murder right now. There's probably, I don't know, there might be murder. There better be murder.
I hope there's murder.
I'm pretty damn sure there's murder since I know this series.
Time travel.
Yeah.
Where is the murder and time travel?
We'll get there. Okay. Well, let's continue so we can get to it. So last time in Higurashi When They Cry, we went to, well, we first played a game of zombie tag out in the class and had terrible cheaters of players, and we were a total
really
cheater too, making sure the entire like younger student body tried to find everybody by saying like the principal needed the other person, or like their parents are dead, or one was a total fucking pervert.
There were Gundam references sprinkled in there, I believe.
Yes, there was the Gundam references. Then we eventually went to the Watanagashi Festival. Played some games, got hot photographers in on the games.
Hell yeah.
Won a
Always.
won a prize for Rena. Had a cute contest for Rena. Then had a talk about the murders with Hot Photographer San and Hot Photographer San's friend before parting ways. And then we left the festival and found out our parents didn't go. But I'm sure nothing is going to happen because of that. There's no curse for people that don't go to the Watanagashi Festival.
Of course there's no curse.
Of course not. This is fine.
Curses aren't real after all.
It sure would be murder. No! Okay. So we continue. We're continuing on. We got this. Load.
Let's go!
I get to be narrator this time. Wee!
Yes, you
any
do.
new tips that we haven't seen before? Aha!
I feel like there might be. Because we did kind of...
Here's the new ones.
Yeah, I feel like these must be there have to be some new ones, because we kind of left without watching any last time.
Yeah, okay. So, from the June 1980 edition, on the afternoon of X at 2 p.m., office employee X and his wife X of Hinamizawa village in Shishibone Prefecture disappeared after falling 27 meters from the observatory platform at Shirakawa Prefecture. Police and firefighters searched downstream and discovered the body of X at around 7 p.m. that evening. His wife, X, is yet to be found. The search has run into difficulties due to the effects of Typhoon 3 from the previous day. It appeared a railing at the observatory that the X's leaned on had broken, causing him to fall. The groundskeeping staff was questioned by the police in regards to facility deterioration and if park maintenance was performed properly. From the June 1981 edition. Yeah, this is set in the 80s, for those of you who just came in. But yeah. On the afternoon of X, around 10 p.m. in the X district of Hinamizawa village in Shishibone Prefecture, the Shinto priest of the Furude Shrine passed away after an existing condition he was recovering from suddenly worsened. Parties close to the deceased said that he was suffering from anxiety issues concerning the festival, which was to be held that day. Also, after X's death, his wife X went missing, leaving behind a farewell note. The police and local youth association continued the search. However, given the presence of the farewell message and the fact that the Onikafuchi marsh is said to be bottomless, they have run into difficulties. So there seems to be a pattern going here. One person dies, another person goes missing.
Sounds right.
It wasn't reported in the newspaper. What? The housewife murder. Oh. Okay. It wasn't reported in the newspaper. That's all we got from that. Oh, there's a radio log. Okay.
Wait, what?
This is Okinomiya Station, calling Unit 3. Unit 3, please respond.
This is Unit 3. Loud and clear.
Backup is heading your way. Hold position until further instructions. Over.
Roger. Unit 3 acknowledged.
Requesting no headlights. Requesting radio silence.
Station, the doctor has arrived. They want to carry it away. What's the order? Over.
Acknowledged. Leave it to the doctor.
Affirmative. Understood. Ah, backup has arrived. Shouldn't we let them take a photo first? I think the Vic is done for.
Okay. Well, that's all we got. Interesting.
Okay. Well,
Well,
let's
that happened.
keep going, I guess.
Here we go.
We finally got murder, guys.
Good morning. Nice job yesterday, K-chan.
You didn't do so badly yourself, man. Yesterday was fun.
Oh, that's right, Kichikun. Thank you very much for Mr. Bear.
Yes, quality voice acting.
I'm glad you like it. Don't use it as a pincushion, though.
I wouldn't.
Still chatting happily, we entered the classroom. But the moment I stepped into the room, a splashing sound and a nasty sensation. It was a bucket filled to the brim with water.
Of
And
course.
unfortunately, my foot stepped right into it. My now, how diligent for you to mop the floor this morning. Clomp, clomp, clomp. What? Gagey-san flicked my forehead.
I feel like this is Rika.
Yep.
You should set a more brutal trap next time.
Seeing that, Rena began to swoon as Mion looked on dejectedly. Everything was the same as always. Everybody was there and nothing felt out of place. The uncertainties I had had in the back of my mind since yesterday had vanished.
What is it, Kichikun? Didn't get enough sleep, maybe? Maybe?
Something like a log, but if you want, I'll do a reenactment during class.
You shouldn't do that.
Mion alerted us to the teacher was coming, so everyone shuffled off to their seats. Good morning, everyone. So yesterday was the festival. Thank you to all the people who stayed until the very end to help clean up. We were all slackers, so none of us actually helped clean up. Actually, I had a feeling that the only thing we did was run around the festival and cause a ruckus. Okay then. This time of year, you might see some people here from out of town doing interviews about the festival for magazines. I thought it was the usual stuff, so I was going to tune it out, but then I noticed a different tone in her voice and started paying attention. You may be asked questions. Please don't say anything silly or something that could be taken the wrong way. Do you understand? In unison, everyone replied, "Yes, ma'am!" What she'd said was really vague, but I understood what she was trying to say. After all, this was the 5th year. There were probably lots of third-rate reporters pouring in, hoping something regarding the curse had happened. It did nothing but perpetuate the village's bad image. She was saying, "Don't spout stupid shit you think is funny." And now I was one of the ones who needed to keep their mouths shut. I found it rather cute how I felt a sense of unity from such a trite thing, if I do say so myself. I was summoned to club activities after school. Since everybody was still pretty tired from yesterday, we just spent the day relaxing. Yeah, that wasn't happening. Today, let's play a classic game of deduction. How about this one?
Ooh, a game from overseas? Looks interesting.
The instructions are in English, but the rules don't seem that hard.
I won't lose, you hear? I'm not too bad at this game.
It seemed that Rena didn't handle this kind of game very well. The rules are, and the person who can match the murderer, weapon, and the scene of the crime wins.
It's Clue.
There were
Yeah.
3 kinds of cards comprised of suspects, weapons, and locations. I could see that the names Mion and Rico were written on the suspect cards.
Of course.
A card with my name on it as well.
Plenty of different weapons, too. like knives, axes, and poison. Locations are pretty nice too, like the living room, the study, and the courtyard.
So basically, you take out one of each of the cards. These are the answer cards.
So we shuffle the remaining cards and hand them out. We ask each other about the cards and figure out the right ones. Ah, I see. So the cards nobody has are the true perpetrators.
Then you raise your hand if you know the answer. The game ends and we check if the answer is correct.
That's incorrect. I believe you point and shout, Jacques! Or something similar.
If you're right, then you get a point. If you're wrong, then you lose a point. Since the game ends, even if no one gets it right, all the cards are gathered up and redistributed. Hey, Pinkowski, how's it going? Oops. You'll learn as you go. You really have to use your brain.
You'll get confused if you don't take notes.
The rest you can figure out by playing. So, Mion, what's the penalty this time?
Everyone directed their attention to Mion. Let's see. We're all still a little tired from yesterday, so maybe we'll take it easy with a gopher penalty. You'll be asked to rush out and buy stuff for everyone.
So just being asked to go buy stuff like drinks and candy, I guess? I feel like the penalty today is pretty simple.
Doing okay. I wonder, is it really? Is Keiichi-san thinking what I'm thinking?
Yeah, you don't know what you'll have to go buy.
I'm betting Mion would send out whoever loses to buy stuff like hemorrhoid cream or happy family planning manual or some other crazy stuff. The cards were lightly shuffled and passed out to each player. The real perpetrator, the correct weapon, and the scene of the murder have been taken out, so that means all the cards I have in my hand are innocent cards. Then, I'll go first since I'm the club president, I guess. Well then, Mion, knife, study. You pick one suspect, weapon, and murder scene and ask each person. If you have any of those cards, then you must say, I have one. However, you don't need to say which one you have.
Yeah, I got it.
Me too. I have one.
This is a bit Ace Attorney music kind of going on here.
Yeah, it kind of is, I guess.
Oh my, all of them are here. 3 people answered when she asked if they had Mion, knife, and study. So that means that Mion and knife and study are all in the clear. Got to jot that down. Objection! Yeah.
Then I'll go. Reina, axe, lounge.
Only 2 people said they had one? So it means out of Rena, Axe, and Lounge, one of them is correct and is part of the crime? No, wait. Even if they say they have one, they don't have to say how many. It's possible that either Satoko or Riko-chan has 2 of the cards. Well, Kei-chan is next. Go ahead.
Wait just a little. I'm still sorting things out.
The game has me thinking more than I thought. Oh man, this feels like it's gonna be tough.
Bitch, have you never played Clue before? Nothing.
Oh. All right.
I think this is Mion.
Yeah. I was just curious because I was trying to think of like what the question was.
Oh, it was more for Keiichi. Have you never played Clue before?
Oh. Yeah, I guess
he
not.
He really just said it's an overseas game, so probably
I mean,
not.
I guess, but I guess
guess
this
so.
is the 80s, isn't it?
This is also the 80s, yes. Probably the movie hadn't even come out yet. All right,
movie?
now I have the criminal. Keiichi.
What? Already?
Here I am spinning around in circles and Mian just now raises her hand. The murderer is Rika-chan. In the infirmary with the poison. Well? Mion drew the cards from the box and we checked to see if her deduction was right.
You were right.
All I needed was one more hand. I couldn't tell whether it was poison or a pistol.
I'd never use a pistol. I killed him slowly.
Damn, Rika!
Rika.
That is, we respect that.
Rika-chan said such a hugely terrifying thing with such a sweet little face. Everyone was making a commotion about how they almost had it. Ren and I were left out in the cold, though.
How did you do, Keiichi-kun? I couldn't get it at all.
Don't worry. I had no idea either.
How can you both be so unsure? You'll both end up in last place together at this rate. That's even worse. Going off buying something together as a couple? What if we ended up having to buy the Happy Family Planning Guide? Hey, Toasty!
I could tell from Keiichi's expression that he's not very good at this game.
What? That's not true. I'll show you the true power of Sherlock Maibara. Really, bud?
Wow.
In the next round.
Wow.
My, that sounds just wonderful. I shall give you quite the thrashing. After that, I managed to somewhat grasp the trick behind the game, but I was still always a step or two behind. I saw that Mion was somehow gleaning information from how the others were asking their questions. That level of experience was just too much. The only way I could stage a comeback was if I became ruthless. I tossed out the simple concept of deduction and switched over to the thought process needed to win. The important thing isn't to find out the criminal, it's to win at the game. Eureka!
Sorry, I need to go to the bathroom.
Supposed to be sleepy time for me, but no visit from Mr. Sandman yet. Oh no! Hopefully you can get some sleep soon, Toasty. Take your time and squeeze out a nice one.
What the fuck, Mion?
Mii-chan, that's gross.
I had them hold off the game and headed down the hall. The air was crisp. It showed just how stagnant the air in the classroom was from our body heat. On the school grounds, some of our classmates were still playing around. After spending some time cooling my head, Rena had made her way over towards me.
Keiichi-kun, did you call for me?
Yeah, I did. When did I do that?
Oh well.
Apparently right now.
As I got up from my seat, I winked over at Rena. I'm glad it worked out.
I don't want to waste too much time, so I'll get right to the point. Rena, what's your record at this game we're playing today?
She was taken aback. After a moment, she hesitantly opened her mouth.
Well, all losses. Why do you ask, I wonder?
Which character said to take your time? Mion. That was absolutely Mion.
Yeah,
100%
definitely
Mion.
Mion.
I could tell from how apprehensively she was playing.
The way things are going, I probably will as well. Can't figure out a way to put a last-minute comeback on this one.
So I guess both of us will be taking that penalty?
Hey! Don't accept defeat already. How about we win this? Both of us.
But how can we?
I brought my lips up to Rena's ear. Whisper.
Huh? Is that allowed?
Did you forget, Rena? The second rule of our society. Do everything in your power to obtain victory.
Yeah, I'll try my best.
Oops. Sorry. Our plan of attack was quite a rudimentary one. There we go. At the beginning of the game, everyone would be focused on their own hand for a while, taking notes and whatnot. Since our seats were right next to each other, we'd reveal our hands to each other. If we did it under the desk, then nobody would know. It's fine, Toasty. We'd begin the game twice as much. We'd begin the game with twice as much information as everyone else. Having this much information would mean we need to investigate less.
With this sort of plan of attack, we can start off with a big lead over the other guys.
Yeah, with this, we can probably win.
We both smirked at each other. If I was the shady businessman, then Reno was the corrupt senator. Pleasure doing business with you.
Oh, that's
Wow.
a little bit too real right now. Let's hurry back. We'll work as a duo to surprise everyone.
Hey, now, there's no point if we go back together. I feel like it's switched.
Yeah, it got switched.
Hey now, there's no point if we go back together. It would be like flat out telling them we made a little arrangement.
Oh, sorry. Then what should we do?
Go back ahead of me, Rena. I'll take my time coming back after washing my face or something.
Okay, got it.
Rena turned around and headed back to the classroom. I guess I should wait a bit longer before going back. If I went too soon, it wouldn't seem like I went to the bathroom. If Mion or one of the others expected something, then there could be problems. Well, they figured it out sooner or later, because both Rena and I would start winning over and over again. Both Rena and I will have earned enough points to avoid being the losers by the time Mion realized what was happening. Excellent. Not bad at all. My Barakun, may I have a moment? Huh? It's the teacher. Man, things were just getting good.
What is it? I'm a bit,
You have a guest. Please make your way to the entrance.
guessed. It's not like I own a hotel.
They've been waiting. Please hurry. It was rather unfortunate that I have someone waiting on me right before my big match, but I was more interested in the unexpected guest. I didn't want to waste any time, so I decided to take care of it quickly. The entryway was a heavy contrast from the hot sunlight and deep shadows. Waiting there, looking uncomfortably warm, was a middle-aged man, his tie sloppily loosened and his jacket tucked underneath his arm.
Are you my Bara-san? Keiichi, my Bara-san?
There was no question that he wasn't a resident of Hinamizawa, and that this was without a doubt the first time he had met me. Ever since I met Tomitake-san, or Hot Photographer-san, I've been running into so many middle-aged men.
That's right. Who might you be? I have the AC on in my car. Let's talk there. It's a bit hot here, don't you think?
Come back to my
Wait,
van.
is he really going to a stranger's car?
He sure is!
The man, completely ignoring my question, pointed over to his car parked near the gate and began walking. You've got to be kidding me. I had no intention of going along with some geezer I didn't even know, and he was asking me to get in his car with him?
Oh, at least he's smart. Okay, good.
Not gonna bite. Come on now.
He opened the back door of his car and called me over. I didn't like this old man, but I wanted to know what this was all about. Even while knowing that conversations that start out like this have never led to anything good.
Oh my.
Could tell him about his candy supply. The inside of his car was pretty cool.
Hey, kid, you
It
come
has
over
candy.
here and I'll give you some candy.
Cars with air conditioners were supposed to be a luxury. Oh yeah, this is the 80s.
Just 80s things.
This character is not making great life decisions. Nope. My dad didn't have one in his car, at least.
She makes terrible life decisions.
It's true.
Please let me know if it's too cold for you, okay? I have a habit of cranking it all the way up. So, what business do you have with me?
Out of spite, I decided to ignore his remark in the same way he did to me and start my own line of questioning. He pulled out a notepad from his pocket and took out a picture that was stuck between the pages. Just gonna do it anyway. Yep. On it was the face of a pretty goofy-looking guy.
If you know anything related to this individual, then please tell me.
Who the heck is this? I doubt even his close friends would be able to recognize who he was from the expressionless picture that looked like it was taken at the DMV.
There were scribbles on his shirt done in permanent marker. Starting with yours, my Barasan, and quite a few of your classmates signed as well.
Wait, her photographer's on?
Huh? This is hot photographer?
There was no hint of his usual unreliable and easygoing personality in this photo. It was an expressionless, half-asleep face.
Then do you know this woman?
Even before seeing it, I had a good idea of who it was.
I don't remember her name, but she's some lady who was with Hot Photographer last night.
I didn't know what her name was, but I did know she was a resident of Inabizawa.
When was the last time you saw these two? The night of the Watanagashi. We spoke. They seemed pretty close, I guess. Did anything bother you about them? Anything's fine. Go ahead and say it.
Being asked for every little detail is very troubling, honestly. I had a pretty good idea of who this guy was by now.
Did something happen to them?
There was no response to my inquiry. Thus, I replied to that silence in kind. I was pretty sure, no, certain, that this guy was a cop. Then why? Why was he asking about Hot Photographer-san? Did something happen to him? If you're a cop, yeah, if you're a cop, you totally gotta tell me. It's like a law.
Yeah, that's totes the law.
More importantly, why me? Shouldn't there have been plenty of other people who knew more about him than I did? The roar of the air conditioner felt unbearably loud. After a long pause, he finally spoke again.
You've moved here just recently. Isn't that right, my Barasan? Are you aware, I wonder, about the stories of Oyashiro-sama?
My heart began to race. I'm pretty terrible at hiding things. It probably showed in my face.
Not at all. If you don't, then that's fine. Well, I've heard of it. A photographer told me, actually. How much do you know about it?
The dismemberment killing, the accidental death, the death by illness followed by suicide, and the lady who was beaten to death. The incidents had always happened the day of the Watanagashi, ending in suspicious death. I didn't think Tomitake-san would have kept anything from me. That Hot Photographer-san! I think that was everything. I want to say it, though. No. Rather, I didn't want to think there was anything more than that. Even though I guess it takes away from the creepy factor if you start calling to say Hot Photographer-san. But still.
That's the point.
Exactly. Fair. We're finally getting to the murder, though.
Do you know of that, well, curse, my Barasan? Feel free to speak openly about it. I don't believe in it.
My answer was instant. It wasn't so much that I didn't believe in it as I was on the verge of believing I wanted to clear away my own doubts. That was the more prominent feeling.
Really? Then that's great. Guess you really are one of those city-raised boys. So what if I don't believe? I have friends waiting, so could you get to the point? The man in this picture is dead.
My mind went blank. Huh? What happened to Hot Photographer-san?
It would seem that he died last night. That was the night of the Watanagashi. Do you understand the implications behind that, my Barasan? Implications. Not any at.
Not any for the cause of his death or the reasons behind it. The real problem was that he died on the day of the Watanagashi. Meaning this year, the curse of Oyashiro-sama had once again.
The death of Jiro Tom, the hot photographer, is still confidential. You can understand why that is, right?
I didn't want to understand why.
Please tell me. Tell me what happened. It was rather peculiar. It might be a little too graphic for someone born and raised in Hinamizawa.
That was some interesting music for that.
Yeah, it really was.
It was a roundabout way of saying it, but it caused me to doubt whether or not I'd wanted to hear the rest. I would only regret forcing myself to learn of something I shouldn't. Or at least that's how I figured I would feel if I listened to the rest.
One of our patrol cars discovered the body on the way back from security detail at the festival. It was late, about 5 till midnight. The location was, you know where the road into town becomes paved, right? Down past the slope, on the shoulder, around there.
There were few streetlights on that road. Its pitch-black darkness was only broken by the lights of passing cars and the moon. It was a stroke of luck that Hot Photographer-san was spotted collapsed on the shoulder of the road. Hot Photographer-san was face down, covered in blood. Blood and muck covered the asphalt.
We thought it was a hit and run at first, but when the officer checked to see if he was still alive, he noticed something abnormal. His throat had been ripped out. From a knife or something? No. Nails. Nails? Is it fingernails? Was he clawed through? From the coroner's report, it was revealed that it was with his own nails.
It's actually really fast for the coroner to figure that out. It was just like last night.
Yeah. What does that mean?
Basically, it means it wasn't a murder, it was suicide. Hot Photographer-san thought there was a reason to tear open his own throat as hard as he could with his own nails. Tore through the skin until he started to bleed. And even then, Hot Photographer-san didn't stop. He continued clawing with enough intensity that it could have peeled off his nails, still clawing. Still clawing! Then, as his nails reached his vital arteries that he should never damage, he continued clawing. Blood splattered on the ground around him. As he bled, while gasping for breath, he collapsed, his body spasmed, and he died in agony.
We thought drugs were to blame, but nothing of that nature was detected.
But it was a suicide? I've never heard of such a thing. This is a natural way of dying. If this wasn't a mysterious death, then what was? The way he died in these 5 years, his death most resembled that of a curse. As if to show both myself and Hot Photographer-san, who proclaimed there was no such thing as a curse, that we were wrong.
There were a few more suspicious details. From his body chemistry, perspiration, epilation, and so on, we concluded that he was in a state of hysteria right before his death.
That was a given. It's hard to believe someone who could be in a sound state of mind while clawing out their throat.
Wounds on his hands matched a discarded piece of lumber found nearby. There are traces of where he struck trees and the guardrails with it. I assume that's supposed to be with it and not within.
Yeah, probably.
Hot Photographer's blood was found all over the place. Meaning
Meaning that while tearing at his own throat, he was swinging around a piece of lumber. There were... Oh,
There were external injuries which were not self-inflicted, discovered on Hot Photographer. There is a high probability that he was assaulted. The external injuries suggest there may be multiple suspects.
to summarize, Hot Photographer's son was surrounded and attacked. While wandering the night roads in a state of panic after being cornered, he picked up a piece of lumber and tried fighting back. Somewhere in there, he began madly tearing at his own throat, clawing at it. Then he died.
The presumed time of death was around 9:23 p.m., meaning it occurred right after you finished talking to Hot Photographer at the festival.
Everyone signed Hot Photographer's son's shirt, then parted ways. Right after that. Oh, yeah, he should have been with a woman. What about her?
She's missing. She hasn't shown up to work and she hasn't returned home either. There's a very high probability that she was involved in this incident.
For a while, I could only gaze off into space. I never would have thought that something unfortunate happening to somebody close to me could affect me this deeply. The time I had spent with Hot Photographer's son was short, but we went to the same festival, spent time together, and took part in the same competition. He was one of us.
We have been continuing the investigation on various fronts, but when it comes to Oyashiro-sama's curse, the villagers here aren't very cooperative.
That I knew well. I would have been none the wiser if not for Hot Photographer's son, the outsider, telling me.
So that's why you came to me? Because I'm not originally from Hinamizawa?
I should have been angry that this was the reason he wanted to hear what happened from me.
If things go the way they have been, then the conclusion would be that Jiro Tomataki, Hot Photographer, died from Oyashiro-sama's curse.
Jiro Tomataki, Hot Photographer. That should have been his calling card.
Yes.
He turned away from me and gazed far off into the distance.
The night of the Watanagashi. During that sacred ritual, he callously snapped off photos angering Oyashiro-sama. That's how it's going to turn out. There's no way Oyashiro-sama would inflict divine punishment on Hot Photographer, son. Have you seen his muscles? He's so hot!
He's
He's
ripped!
blessed by Oshiro-sama. He's blessed
Right.
by him.
Hashtag fucking blessed. No. Hot Photographer's son had to have been killed by humans in a cowardly group, no less. There's no way I'm going to let this end up being the fault of some curse.
I think so as well. There's no such thing as divine punishment or curses.
The tense mood was cut with the man's hearty laugh.
That's how this must be, my bar-san. Cooperation from individuals in Hinamizawa who don't believe in the curse is indispensable. Understand?
Neither Hot Photographer's son nor I believed in curses. But with the way things were going, it would just end up with Hot Photographer's son's death marking the 5th year. Which would mean that Hinamizawa had rejected Hot Photographer's son. That was something I couldn't allow. Hot Photographer's son was one of us. He didn't live in Hinamizawa, but he came every single year. In a sense, he was more of a resident than I was. There was no way that Hot Photographer's son could have been cursed by Oishiro-sama.
But there's nothing I can do to help. I have no idea what happened that night either. No. If you see or hear something that draws your attention, then that's enough.
If I see or hear, he was talking in the future sense.
Things or people or rumors, anything is fine. don't care if they're unfounded. Here, this is my number. I'm not there. Just leave a message with whoever picks up.
He handed me a piece of paper with his number on it, but I hesitated for a second. If I took it, then whether I wanted to or not, I'd be mired knee-deep in this matter.
Help me solve these questions surrounding hot photographer's unfortunate death. His hotness should not have been taken from this world.
True. That's right. Why was I hesitating? That hotness must be avenged! I need to find the murderer who killed my hot friend! I snatched up the piece of paper as a satisfied grin spread across his face.
Everything we spoke of today is a secret. Please keep this confidential.
He does know he's telling, like, what is he, like 15, 16
Understood.
maybe?
Probably 15, 14 or 15.
From your friends as well. Yeah, he's not going to keep this a secret for very long. From your friends as well. Especially from Sonozaki and Furude. Please do not inform them. Sonozaki? You mean Mion? Why? Are you saying they have something to do with the incident?
With my friends' names brought up so abruptly and being told to keep it a secret from them, I became rather angry.
This is what they call investigative privilege, I suppose. Don't play games with me! Mion is a close friend of mine.
I snapped at him, but he didn't seem to especially be offended.
I wouldn't mind telling you, but it may just upset you. Say it!
He hesitated a little. Turning his gaze to the outside of the car, he began to speak after thinking for a bit.
There is a possibility that the string of incidents happening here in Hinamizawa are the results of a village conspiracy. There's no way that could be right. Give me a
break. First of all, is there any proof of that?
No evidence. Also, each of the cases were resolved, and none of the perpetrators had any direct connection to the village. Then how did you come to that conclusion? Every year, the enemies of the village die on the day of the Wataganashi. Don't you think that's enough reason to suspect something?
It's a conspiracy. Cue the X-Files theme.
No, no, no.
Do, 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 do. Only the residents of Hinamizawa felt that the day of the Watanagashi was sacred. So basically, because incidents happened on that day, it was somehow related to Hinamizawa?
First it was the dam construction foreman.
Damn,
Then it was a villager that supported it. Those in the village hold a grudge against die, one after the other, from mysterious causes. The means are different, but in the end the result is the same.
Unfounded, unreasonable suspicion. But it couldn't just be shrugged off. Can't talk today.
So the victims after that, what about the Shinto priest and his wife's death? They weren't enemies of the village.
Truth is out there, and with there, I mean in a high school scenario with Japanese teens that do PE in their underwear, and also involving hot photographers and old men with candy. Exactly, yes! Conspiracy!
Sounds right. The villagers had expected leadership from the Shinto priest at the time of the dam dispute, but he wasn't proactive, so there was a faction of villagers who harbored ill will towards him as a result. Ill will? It's not like he did anything bad to the village. What about the housewife after that? Did she die just because she was the wife of the brother of a supporter? That's such a trivial reason to kill someone. What about our photographer? He's not affiliated with the Dam Project at all. Was he killed just because he was an outsider?
In the beginning, it fell on those related to the dam project, but as the years went on, the enemy threshold of the victims become much lower.
Well, that's the scary part. The bar keeps getting lower. What's scary about that? It means it's not just enemies of the village anymore. Just being an outsider is reason enough. Then next year's victim, they're just going to be picked out of the village outsider pool? It might be a person that just moved here. What do you mean by...
I swallowed my words. Hey. That's why you wanted adventures. Thank you so much for the raid. How was your stream? Hi, Tommy. Welcome in. We're getting to murder now, finally.
That was a very abrupt tone shift.
What?
It was a very abrupt tone shift.
I know, right?
From my family member about to be murdered to, hey,
Raiders, how's it going? I hope you had an amazing game. It was good. Had our weekly haiku wrap up. Nice. Haiku wrap up. That's awesome. And here we are. We're getting freaking getting, I don't know, threatened by a cop in his fancy schmancy cop car that has AC in it. Because it's the 80s.
That the cop is telling a 14-year-old boy the gruesome death of his friend and telling him to go and spy on everybody who he lives near.
Yep. And also not to tell them anything because they might be involved in some conspiracy. Just so you know, we're pretty far into this first thing. So if you haven't played this game and you want to, spoilers, sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah. So yeah, welcome to the creepy shenanigans as we go through this not game. It's a visual novel. It's more of a sound novel, so it's literally like there are no choices. We just read through the story. So we're doing voice acting for it. Watch the mermaid video today. Nice. Yep. Thank you, Kayla. Okay.
Got you.
Okay. Back to all right. Happiness. Back down to creepy murder. Okay. I swallowed my words. Here in Hinamizawa, the ones who would be considered the most outside would be my family. I was proof enough of that, wasn't I? I still couldn't really remember the names of the people I passed by. Then the next victims, my family. Was he saying that it was going to be me?
But what does that have to do with Mion? I can't go into details, but the Sonozaki family led the dam protests. Quite fervently so. That is also true of Mion Sonozaki herself.
Toasty, almost haiku. The last two lines needed to be switched for the syllables, but yes.
She has quite a few misdemeanor and obstruction of public worker offenses on her record because of the protests.
Damn, that's way too many hours, Tommy. I'm so sorry. I knew Mion knew what it meant to fight. This was the first I'd heard of her family leading the protest, though. Then, well, what did it all mean?
Are you saying that Mion's family is involved with this string of incidents? I wouldn't go that far. I'm just saying that if it was a conspiracy, then they'd have the highest probability of being behind it.
Not a very clear explanation. It felt like he'd magnificently avoided the details I really wanted to know.
We don't know who or how anyone involved is right now. This is exactly why I don't want you to say anything to the villagers.
Instead of answering, I gave a very bitter expression. It seemed that he understood it well enough.
Then think of it like this. I don't want to worry the villagers who blindly believe it's the curse. How about that?
What do you mean, how about that? How should I know? But the reasoning behind wanting me to not carelessly open my mouth about it wasn't too hard to comprehend. The perpetrator was here. It had nothing to do with a curse. He was definitely going to be caught by the police and made to pay for his crimes. And none of the villagers should have anything to do with that process. It may cause those sensitive about the curse to just worry needlessly.
Just like everyone kept it from me, so I wouldn't worry about it. So now my turn to keep it from them so they don't have to worry?
I was just talking to myself. Unlike me, everyone else had been worrying over these mysterious incidents early. And the incident this time probably means a lot more to them. I didn't want to burden them anymore. In the end, everything went as the man had wanted, as insipid as it was, but it couldn't be helped.
I understand. I'll keep it to myself. Is that fine, Mr. Uishi from the Okinomiya police station?
So, Candy Cop.
You
Kura?
can even call me Kura-chan if you want.
Okay.
What?
So, Candy Cop.
No. Uishi-san is fine.
Creepy.
Thanks.
Candy Cop. The way he said it was unpleasant, yet retained hints of politeness. He was a spitting image of a vulgar police officer. Though I've never seen one this bulky before in the cop shows I watch. You haven't watched enough cop shows.
I've taken up too much time. Your friends are waiting, aren't they? I should probably let you get back to them.
The door opened with a click and in streamed the oppressive heat. It was blistering outside the car. Was it really this hot of a day? There was an almost cruel heat as opposed to the mechanical coolness inside the car. It was as if the land of Hinamizawa itself suddenly hated me. I felt a little sad as that thought crossed my mind.
I didn't mean to suspect your friends. Please don't misunderstand that.
I refrained from telling him that it was too late to say something that self-serving.
It's fine if you didn't see or hear anything, my bar. There's enough proof that the village is not involved. I'll contact you if I hear or see anything. But I'm no detective. Please don't expect too much from me. I won't. You don't have to become a detective. Just go on living as you have up until now. Just let me know if you notice anything.
I hastily made my way back to the school building after giving him a quick bow.
See you later. Farewell, my Barakun.
I returned to the school building without looking back. I don't know how much time had passed. I did feel bad for keeping them waiting, but right now there was a lot on my mind. Top Photographer San's death was hard enough as it was, but to think that there was the possibility of a village conspiracy? Worse still, there was also a chance that Mion was involved? Nonsense. Impossible. Not Mion, Rena, Satoko, or Rika-chan. It was a group that attacked Top Photographer San? Who could the perpetrators be? Could it be they were hiding here somewhere in Hinamizawa? I didn't know. All I could say for certain was that I knew that Mion couldn't be the perpetrator. I think that's Rena. Or Mi-chan?
Maybe.
Think
It's
so.
Mi-chan, the perpetrator.
Yeah, I got it right. Huh? I was startled to hear Rena's voice.
With the rope in the lounge.
Nope.
No.
Sly face.
Sad face.
Rena clutched her head while flailing about. Looks like you're just self-destructing over here. Wow.
Rena used self-destruct.
It was super effective.
Ah! Keiichi-san, you're quite late! As you may well know, I'm seething with anger!
Night, Toasty.
Oh,
Sorry
good night,
about
Toasty.
that. Night. I was called into the staff room, you see.
You were reprimanded for bad behavior? That's a shame.
Well, it's been pretty heated over here. Since it's getting pretty late, let's make the next game the last one.
If I remember right, I had 0 points. Isn't it pretty much decided that I'm going to be finishing in last place?
Don't worry, Keiichi-kun. I'm at -1 points.
How? The heck? Her score was lower than mine and I wasn't even playing. This is going to be the final match to decide if the penalty is going to be carried out by Rena alone or by both Kei-chan and Rena.
Yeah, right. Just let Rena do the penalty by herself.
We made a promise, Keiichi-kun, that we both win. I waited all this time, you know? You know?
I'm sorry about that.
I followed my initial plan of showing Rena my cards, but I didn't say who was the criminal and just waited for her to call.
I got it. The murderer is me. With the poison at the entrance. Is it? Is it?
My, Rena. Quite a quick answer. Another stab in the dark? Oh.
Rena's correct.
Then it's decided that Keiichi-san shall take part in the penalty as well.
Hooray! Keiichi-kun, let's both do our best, Star.
Yeah,
Frank.
let's do our best.
It's my fault, so I have no choice. Then that's game. It's me, Mion Sonozaki, ranked first. In dead last are Keiichi Maebara and Rena Ryugu. Everyone applauded as the game ended. The problem now was the penalty. Now then, I ranked first, so I'll decide what you'll be buying for the gopher penalty.
What should make us buy, I wonder? I wonder.
Let's blacklist the drugstore. That was your aim, wasn't it?
Huh? I don't have any business at the drugstore. This old man's already got a list prepared for you on this piece of paper.
Ooh, there's a lot written here.
A lot?
Oh, I think that was Rena.
Yeah. Damn it, what is she making us buy?
2 blocks of tofu. Shampoo and conditioner.
It's her
Apple
grocery
vinegar
list.
and
It's her
fried
grocery
tofu.
list.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's definitely her grocery list. The heck is this?
It looks more like a shopping list than a penalty.
We were certain she was going to win today.
Rule 7 of our society. You cannot refuse any penalty. Here's some money. The shampoo I usually get is Fruit Fable. Thanks!
This is just your grocery list!
I promised myself that if I won next time, I'd make her go buy hemorrhoid cream.
Is that the end of the chapter?
Murder, you might be next. Get good, my groceries!
Wow, that's literally
Goodness.
the end of the chapter. We got an achievement for it
Not
too.
a clue. Okay.
Yes, us right now. Not a clue.
Yep.
It me.
Mm-hmm. Oops.
Hypovolemic shock induced by clawing out their own throat. tissues packed under the nails. Not someone else's nails. It's undoubtedly by the individual's own nails. The shape of the scars also matches.
Yeah. I know the immediate cause of death was suicide.
I get it. You're saying the cause of death is unnatural, right?
I feel like this is Keiichi, who's the other one who's talking.
Really?
No, I think it's just like
I think it's like a coworker.
yeah,
Is it?
coworker or like the coroner maybe.
Oh,
Yeah.
maybe.
I think it's coroner.
Kind of like when your back itches and you scratch a little too hard and draw blood.
Some of hot photographer's son's fingernails have been pulled out. It's actually quite simple to pull out one's own nails, but it really hurts. Under normal circumstances, the pain would prevent you from completely pulling them out.
All of those are very true statements.
Also, there were a lot of
Yes.
bruises on hot photographer's son's body. His hot body. No, how dare they?
No, how dare
Don't ruin the
How dare they?
Don't ruin the
violate his body?
merchandise. It's clear from the shape of them that he was assaulted first by someone or a group of people.
According to the toxicology report, the deceased was in an extreme state of hysteria right before death.
Then he fought back and clawed out his own throat because of how hysterical he had become. The guys attacking him certainly would have been surprised by that.
It is possible that in such an abnormal environment, a person could perform acts that a sane individual couldn't possibly imagine. Of course, those are very rare cases.
Actually, Oishi-kun, that wood plank the deceased used as a weapon, they also found sand and paint from the guardrail on it.
What about cloth fibers or skin?
Nothing. The deceased didn't strike the silence. Or it could be they took the plank he was fighting back with.
In that case, they wouldn't have gone out of their way to replace it with another. They'd take them all.
That's true.
Tomatake's hot photographer is pretty built and tanned.
Yep, we know.
You guys can just say Tomitake. It's okay.
No, he shall
No.
forever be hot photographer.
That's how he must be
He was-
remembered.
He was quite,
Forever.
he was quite athletic.
Rip.
Rip the ripped.
That's right. He was pretty active.
I can't imagine what kind of sports he did when he was alive, but I think his physical strength would be on the higher side. Meaning he would be difficult to overpower in a brawl. If a man with such a physique sensed he was in danger and swung the plank around quickly, it's just unthinkable that it wouldn't even nick the perpetrator. And his opponent was unarmed. This guy had a wooden plank, so you'd think he'd hit him at least once.
To surround and take down someone in his physique. I wonder how many people it would take.
You dimwit. You should know better than anyone. Have you forgotten your bat? Oh.
Oh, did we switch?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Who knows? If I was to take down this guy, how many would I need? When a group wants to take down big prey, it's fundamental to attack with numbers. I'd guess about 4. Even if there was a gap in their strength, they'd manage.
Then there were quite a few perpetrators. So any drunk and disorderly groups of more than 4 are suspicious?
A group of 4 or more. Just if they had that many, then couldn't they have hidden the body in a less obvious location? Or did he somehow break away from that fatal predicament? Then there would be no reason to commit suicide. Moreover, I still can't comprehend the regular way he died. It's full of mysteries.
That's under serious consideration on my end, too. I'll be examining it as thoroughly as possible, but don't get your hopes up. After all, we've never encountered a death like this before.
I'm not hoping for much, but I am looking forward to the results.
Oishi-san, the chief's calling for you.
Thanks. See you around.
Yeah. Best wishes.
Hot photographer, deceased. Resided in a cheap hotel in Shishibone City. Registered under the name of Hot Photographer. Pen name.
Pen name.
Travels via folding bike. No license. The bicycle was found 300 meters away, abandoned at the side of a forest path. Present on the day of the festival, accompanied by the missing Mio Takano. Was seen around 9 p.m. by police. Location afterwards unknown. Held residence in Hinamizawa for 1 week each session for the last 5 to 6 years. Freelance photographer specializing in wild birds. Check with magazine companies. Nothing suspicious in the film located among the articles of the deceased. Wallet was among the articles of the deceased. Mere act of violence? From the contents of his wallet, he spent most of his time around Tokyo and Chiba, along the Sobu National Railway line. No individual was matching the name Hot Photographer in the residency records of any of the Tokyo wards. Compare teeth to dental records. Send to Metro Police. Attach a photo. Send to Metro Police. Contacting magazines regarding Hot Photographer. Mio Takano, missing. Nurse at Irie Clinic. Became close to Hot Photographer through her passion for wild bird photography.
Hey, we finally have a name for her.
Yep.
Hey.
Resides in Okinomiya X District X. Single. Witnessed accompanying Hot Photographer on the festival grounds. Currently missing. Abducted? Or maybe a suspect. An important person of interest. Had no motive to kill the deceased. Squabble from jealousy? Need to thoroughly investigate the relationship. Place of work, etc. Need to get information from the police on the scene again. I want some cream puffs. 4 jumbo ones. Me too. That sounds great.
I feel that.
Oh, this is Oishi. Okay then.
What are you getting? We should probably save.
Probably save.
Oh yeah, probably. I can do that. Quick
I mean,
save.
you are the only one of us with the power to, so.
There we go. Quick save.
Yes.
Sleepy.
Whoa, that was a really big yawn, Keiichi-kun.
I'm usually awake when it's time to eat, but doesn't look like I can do it today.
So tired watching TV until late last night. I'm so tired right now.
Was one of those raunchy TV shows you loved so much on last night? I can't talk. What the fuck? How extremely vile.
Don't jump to conclusions.
It's perfectly normal for boys. Nothing to be ashamed about.
Rika not patting my head only made me feel worse.
Could you just let me pass out this lunch break? Please? No, seriously.
My, you think I would just sit here and allow that?
I'll get really angry if you disturb me. Really angry.
This was just dreadful. Just so sleepy. I slumped my head under the desk and drifted off into an afternoon nap. It seemed that Satoko hadn't responded, but I pretended not to hear.
Cut it out, Satoko-chan. Keiichi-kun fell asleep.
Yep.
His sleeping face. So cute!
Drink.
Star.
Probably. You can take him home later. Let him be for now.
Let's move over there. It'd be rude to Keiichi if we bother him now.
Rika-chan really is a good girl. Let's not wake him up even if the teacher comes back. Oh, that's Rika still. I take that back. The excuse that I didn't sleep much last night because I was watching TV was a lie. I was in bed at the usual time, but because of the conversation with Candy Cop that afternoon, I didn't get much sleep.
Yes.
So sorry, why is he Candy Cop?
Because he is the cop that brought into his car for candy. And
Okay, fair.
And asked, him to be called Kura-chan.
yeah, Kura-chan.
It's not just Kura, but Kura-chan. Like,
Kura-chan.
what?
Candy Cop. Just spending the day like this, it's almost as if the incident with hot photographers on didn't happen at all. It made me think, was Candy Cop just trying to deceive me? But it was probably the truth. One thing was certain.
I mean, he is a cop.
Yeah. If I couldn't speak to anyone about it. He wanted my assistance, but I really didn't know anything about it. If I knew I wasn't going to be of any help, I probably wouldn't have listened in the first place. It ended up with me, again, regretting learning something I didn't need to know. If I'd never learned about it, I would, without a doubt, be goofing off with the rest of them right now. I couldn't help but resent Candy Cop for this.
Huh? When was that?
I heard he wasn't there the next day. It appears he vanished the night of the Watanagashi. Oh, that was
I mean, the old man voice was
Mion
perfect.
Is an old man.
She is an old man.
She does keep calling herself this old man.
Yep. Mion whispered to keep others from listening, but I could hear it clearly. On the other hand, Rena's voice was even harder to pick up, but I could still tell she was quite upset. It couldn't be. Are they talking about hot photographers? Hot photographer's son?
Itake.
I'm not sure. That's all I know. I would have to feign ignorance about this topic because I needed to keep it a secret. Rather than waking up and being forced to lie to join the conversation, it was much easier to just sit here and pretend I was asleep to listen in on their discussion. Wait, why did I have to pretend to be asleep when eavesdropping on my friend's conversation? The guilt stung.
So, and me. There are others, right?
But they don't know if it's from the curse or if this was an onikakushi. Onikakushi? Onikakushi. To be hidden away by a demon? What a mysterious phrase. I did, however, get the feeling it meant nothing good.
Yeah. Oh, there was another, right? Right?
If it's Oishieva-sama's, yeah.
But this yet at all?
Bachan and the mayor had talked about it. Seems they talked to the police about it beforehand. They said that they'd take care of whatever's happened this year without causing a commotion.
Then, without us knowing it, somehow had Ed them, you mean?
Maybe.
Next could me, I wonder.
Don't worry. You got home safely.
But is not allowed, right?
That was a long time ago. Let's stop talking about this.
Why am I only getting parts of sentences and you get full-on sentences?
Because she's so quiet. He just said she was way too hard to understand. Amidst the uncomfortable mood, both of them went silent. The entirety of the conversation was still a bit unclear, but a few parts caught my attention. First of all, the term onikakushi, to be demoned away. But the context it was used in, I would guess it's similar to being spirited away. I suspected that this was what it meant because hot photographer-san and that woman, it really bugged me that I don't know her name, vanished after the Watanagashi.
Spirited away, but without the Miyazaki.
Yep. The next thing that stuck out was when Rena said, "There's another one, right?" Mion also said if it's Oyashiro-sama's, responding to something. If it's Oyashiro-sama's curse, then there had to be 2 victims. Is that what she meant? Come to think of it, I remember Mion saying at the beginning that they didn't know if it was from the curse or if it was the case of Onikakushi. It seems that the curse and being deemed away are different things, and there were phenomena that were paired together. I recalled hot photographer-san's terrible end. That wasn't something as elegant as disappearing. That horrendous end would be best described as cursed. Then the woman with him, it means she vanished because she was demoned away? What I do know is that there's normally an even number of victims of the curse proper. And the last point that bothered me was Rena. Rena was frightened. For what reason, I didn't know. However, she knew that something had made her a potential target for Oyashiro-sama's curse. If I recall correctly, Oyashiro-sama should be the guardian deity of Hinamizawa. Isn't a guardian deity supposed to defend the citizens and drive out invaders? If I recall correctly, yesterday Candy Cop said that originally the targets were enemies of the village, but recently there was no longer any distinction between them or regular outsiders. But if that was the case, then I would think that I'd be the more likely target, having moved here more recently than Rena. From her composure, I could infer that she was grimly certain that she would be next. I should probably relay what I just heard now to Candy Cop. Informing the police of what I heard by eavesdropping on my friends while pretending to be asleep, it made me feel terrible. It raised a few questions and left me with a bad taste in my mouth. Would it be better not to seek the answers to those questions? As I continued to learn more and more, I felt like I had fallen past the point of no return. I would definitely regret this one day. I would definitely regret ever having learned these events. Whee! The teacher approaches! Keiichi-san! You must awaken! In the distance, I could hear the ring of the handbell signaling the start of afternoon classes. Gah, I couldn't sleep at all! I hastily opened my eyes and raised my head up. It was in that moment when I leaned against the back of my seat. There was a thumbtack stuck in the back of my chair with tape. Circumstantial evidence was enough.
Satoko!
Guilty without trial! Capital punishment! I fiercely jumped from my seat, and I tripped as if my feet were tangled up. My shoelaces had been tied together.
Not bad, Satoko. While I was sleeping, you were able to conceal your presence and able to pull off this fine piece of work.
The teacher came in right as I was about to pull off my shoes and tackle Satoko.
Did you not notice that our teacher has arrived, Keiichi-san? Take your seat!
I mean, he should be able to show just like the fucking thumbtack sticking out of his back, I'd hope.
Not caring one bit, I made her eat a flick to the forehead.
Keiichi-san is being mean.
Hey, don't pick on the younger kids, Maibara-kun. Apologize to her. I saw Satoko stick out her tongue at me. That little brat! Come on, Maibara-kun.
Yeah, I'll apologize. Sorry, Satoko-san.
In any case, I apologized even if it wasn't a completely insincere tone of voice. Damn her, I'll remember this. Kei-chan, get your revenge at the club meeting. Take your seat. I sat down after Mion told me to. She'd switched to class representative mode. She's basically the school representative mode at this point. It's all one class.
True.
With the boring classes finished, school was finally over for the day. Now then, what should we do for our club today? Personally, I would like to play that deduction game one more time. I was hardly able to play it last time because of Candy Cop. Ren and I weren't even able to test our strategy.
That's right. Today, Keiichi-kun and I will be victorious.
What should we do? We've never played the same game 2 days in a row before.
Why not asking me?
Mion looked over her shoulder as we made eye contact. She slowly tapped her palm with her fist as her face suddenly lit up. Oops! I completely forgot. I need to go help my uncle today. Sorry guys, not today.
Helping your uncle? Aren't you a little goody two-shoes?
Sorry, really. I really did forget. Well then, sorry guys. This old man is heading back home now. Mion left us with that and rushed off to the exit after snatching up her bag.
You see, Mi-chan, she sometimes goes to help out her uncle's shop in town.
Oh, I thought she wasn't the type to get caught up in such bothersome stuff.
She said that she gets paid for it. It's quite a bit of spending money from what I hear.
I see. She was able to pay for that mountain of games with what she saved up from there.
Well, wouldn't you call that a part-time job? Isn't that against school policy? Real talk, what's with all these, like, Japanese schools and having policies against part-time jobs?
Because your focus will be away from school, meaning your schoolwork will get less time to be worked on and less focus on it, therefore having your grades be lower.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like a problem that the school should fuck right off from involving themselves in.
Yeah, no, that's just Japan as a society.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure.
Cool. Okay.
There's a clause that states family businesses are excluded.
Is that what she's calling it? So what now? Pass on the club today?
So, we're done today, I guess.
Wouldn't it be fine even without the club president?
Open the club locker and began searching for the deduction game from that ever-growing pile of games.
Aha! Here it is, the deduction game from yesterday. Man, I had to stop just as I was getting the hang of it.
At the very least, I wanted to repay Satoko for what she did during the afternoon break.
I do not mind, but that is fine for Renaissance. But is that fine for Renaissance and Rika?
If Keiichi-kun wants to so badly, I wouldn't mind playing for a bit. I think it's better if we do it when we have everyone together.
When she says it like that,
I wanted to go. I feel like this is
I think
somebody
this is
who's not
Rika.
Casey.
Is this Rika?
Yeah, I think it's
I
Rika
wanted to go
again.
shopping if there wasn't a club meeting today. Gonna go buy soy sauce and other things.
Oh, Keiichi's definitely not fucking going shopping.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I completely forgot. Question mark.
Who this is?
Yeah, no idea.
Well, I guess since it's been a while, I should go treasure hunting.
What's this now? Everyone was no longer in the mood for club activities. Oh, okay, so that other one was Satoko. If I kept on trying to push the matter, it may make them realize I had a trick up my sleeve. Ah, well, I'll give up this time.
Man, I was really looking forward to playing it.
I shuffled through the cards as if I was still caught up in it.
At the next opportunity, I shall give you a sound thrashing.
The murderer is Satoko. The murder weapon is the pistol. It was you after all.
What did you say? Then I'll just...
Satoko looked through the cards on the desk and stuck out 3 of them at me.
The murderer is Keiichi! In the lounge with the rope!
I don't need no rope. I'll just strangle you like this.
No!
Yeah.
Keiichi-san is such
Yeah.
a beast!
Well, I guess it's good that I got that out of my system.
I'll remember this, Keiichi-san!
She was used as a plaything for quite a while. How unfortunate. Star. Cute. Cute. Star.
Everyone got ready to go back home. I also helped gather up the scattered cards. I suddenly paused. They were just the suspect cards, but I noticed something strange. Rena, Satoko, Rika, Keiichi, Mion. Satoshi. Satoshi? Not all the cards were made by us. Or at least every card besides this one had the name of a club member. Does that mean that this Satoshi fellow was a member? Was there someone in the class named Satoshi?
Did he want to be the very best? Like no one ever was?
Ayy! I couldn't find anyone named Satoshi on the class roster stuck up on the wall.
Keiichi-kun, let's hurry and finish up cleaning.
Being rushed by Rena, I finished up quickly. Satoko and Rika-chan had already headed merrily for the lockers, so we were the only ones left in the classroom. Right now, Rena had already gotten her bag and was ready to leave.
Rena, there must be quite a few people who transfer from this school, right?
I tried asking Rena in a bit of a roundabout way. Rena made a troubled face and then answered.
Yeah, Hinamizawa is a rural town, right? Some people transfer out every now and then.
Then is Satoshi another one of those transferees?
Sorry. I don't really know.
There was a bit of a pause, but the answer was pretty much immediate.
I'm not saying it to be mean. Just last year, I transferred in, so maybe I missed him. So I didn't hear much about him. Sorry. Sus.
I am not sure, sorry. Her answer was a lot like when she refused to tell me about the murder at the dam. I was saddened by her denial and felt a little bit of anger. I'm their friend, aren't I? Friends don't keep secrets from their friends, do they? Though I do appreciate that they kept that unsettling curse thing from me. But if everyone is worried about it, I'd rather be worried with them. That's what it means to be friends, right? For a moment, I wondered just what kind of face I was making just then, with these mixed feelings of sadness and annoyance.
Keiichi-kun, you're making a scary face. Why is it? Why?
It was probably exactly the kind of face Rena said it was. It appeared my grim expression frightened her.
Sorry, I was really looking forward to the club today. I'm just feeling really down about it.
I rustled Rena's hair.
Let's go home.
Dragging that awkward mood with us, we headed home. I wonder why. Why have I been getting this dumb feeling lately? I didn't know anything. I had nothing to worry about. I was just enjoying my everyday life. My long, outstretched shadow gave no answer to my naive inquiry.
Keiichi-kun, are you tired, maybe? Maybe?
Rena timidly questioned the reason behind my mood. I'm sure my expression made the situation even more unsettling.
You think so?
Yeah, you seem to have been a little out of it ever since this morning. Maybe a cold?
Physically, I was pretty sure I was in perfect health. It may not seem like it, but I've had a perfect attendance since elementary school. Hey, same. Rena continued on since I didn't give her an answer.
It could be that the fatigue from moving has finally caught up to you. Months later. It's completely different from where you used to live, after all. Of course you've gotten tired, since there's so much you need to get used to and remember.
I guess so.
I mean, I guess it's plausible.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah, it has to be. Rena was also like that at first, too. I could tell, you know. You know?
Yeah, she speaks in third person. I wondered if Rena also experienced a slight bit of alienation last year that I was feeling right now. Thinking so, I felt that she was the only one who could understand how I felt.
I'd like to hear about when you first came to Hinamizawa. How was it?
Feeling I had been drawn into the conversation, her face suddenly brightened.
It was the same as Kichikun. I didn't know the villagers' names at all. Michan and the rest were all very kind, so I wasn't lonely, but I did still feel a little out of place.
Rena told me all the details of when she'd moved here. All of her first acquaintances and surprises, worries and good times.
So, Satoko got you too?
Yeah, there was a thumbtack put on my chair. Poke. Then with that, yeah. That really takes me back.
When were you invited into the club? First day?
Nah, there wasn't a club at the beginning. It was formed partway through.
That's interesting.
It's very interesting.
Then why is Satoshi's name on there?
One day, she said we should stay after and hold a big game tournament.
Come to think of it, Mion did say she was the first club president. Oh, I get it.
This is a secret, but Michan used to be really bad at the beginning. She'd never win.
What? Mion? Really? I can't even imagine that.
She had to do most of the penalties that she came up with. Seriously, don't tell.
I can't believe Mion was like that. So she gradually transformed into a monster who used any means necessary to win during that time? Mion is at her best when she's fighting dirty.
I began making more friends beside Michan after that, but yeah. It might have been only since you moved here that I finally felt like I had gotten used to it here.
I guess Rena had also been left in the dark about Oishiro-sama when she had just moved here. I guess when they finally told me about Oishiro-sama, I'd been considered one of them.
I wonder when I'll finally be considered one of them.
Huh? Did you say something?
No, sorry. Just talking to myself.
Keiichi-kun, you're silly.
Rena was poking fun and laughing at me, and I couldn't help but laugh as well. But I suddenly stopped. Then, after making up my mind, I spoke.
Hey, Rena. Is there something that everybody is keeping from me?
Huh? No, not at all.
You're lying, aren't you?
Rena suddenly stopped. Her expression was cold and intense.
What do you mean by that, Keiichi-kun?
Her tone was still the same cheery and light-hearted one as before.
You are, aren't you? Keeping something from me?
After understanding what I meant, her expression grew even more intense. Seeing that face, I regretted saying something so rash, but she came back at me in a way I didn't expect.
Well then, Keiichi-kun. Aren't you keeping something from us?
Oh shit, that face.
Holy shit! What the fuck?
It's very cold and
Suddenly
expressionless,
Yandere
guys.
face.
I like to think that, holy shit, what the fuck is that, hun? Instead of huh.
I would like to see the old art, please, real quick.
Oh, yeah, that's a good
yes.
idea. Yeah.
Please
Hold
show
on.
the old art for this.
Hold on.
Just so we can completely ruin the tone here.
Whoa.
What? It looks no different.
Yeah, it doesn't really look any different. She just has an upward tilting, her lips are tilted upward.
Yeah. What the heck?
Her tone didn't change, but it was the first time I'd seen this expression from Rena. With how her gaze pierced through me, I couldn't believe this was the same Rena.
Aren't you? Lies or secrets? Aren't you?
You are. Secrets. She didn't actually say that part, but she looked as if she did. The incident with Hot Photographer Son and how I felt alienated from the group. Even without having to think about it, there were things I knew that I felt guilty about. But I didn't tell everyone because what happened with Hot Photographer Son, to be considerate. I was keeping it a secret just the same way they didn't tell me about Oyashiro-sama. Then aren't we even?
No, I'm not. No lies. Nor secrets.
Liar.
Her answer was instant and it shook me. Rena stared as if burrowing through me, watching me like a hawk.
Why would you say I'm lying?
Didn't you say that you were called into the teacher's room yesterday during the club meeting, Keiichi-kun? I know. You didn't go to the teacher's room.
I swallowed hard. It clearly wasn't a bluff. She knew what happened.
The teacher said you had a guest, didn't she? But you didn't talk at the entrance. You talked inside of the car near the school gate. With some man we don't know.
Rena knew everything. She knew that I was called up by fuck, I'm now mixing up names here, by Candy Cop, and that I heard about the incident with Hot Photographer Son as well. Did she know all of it?
Exactly who was that man?
I don't know him.
Why did someone you don't know have business with you?
I want to know that myself.
Then what did you talk about?
It has nothing to do with you guys.
It was a lie.
Lies.
Rena's scream echoed through the trees, sending frightened birds into the air. I couldn't exhale the deep breath I had just taken. No, it was like I wasn't allowed to exhale. It was here I first realized. The person in front of me, she wasn't Rena Ryugu. Then who was it that was standing before me now? Who had assumed Rena Ryugu's appearance? I had held my breath for so long I could feel myself suffocating.
Right?
And then she made a facial expression that Rena normally might have made. It didn't matter that it was Rena's usual smile. It chilled me to the bone. She drew closer to me. I felt her breath against my face. It wasn't the least bit exciting. Whoever this was with Rena's face was going to chew my nose right off. I cowered as I imagined that. Then she smirked as if she was able to see right through me.
We also have secrets, just like how Keiichi-kun has secrets.
It was Rena's usual smile, but her eyes were still like that of a hawk's. Bringing her face close enough to mine to almost bump into my nose, she kindly persuaded me. I couldn't nod or shake my head. This person standing in front of me, this person who looked like Rena, frightened me to my core. I was terrified knowing that she could hear the sound of me swallowing nervously. After what felt like an eternity, after a long, empty silence, she finally spoke.
Let's go. It's getting chilly.
It was Ren again. Smiling at me once more, she started walking off as if nothing at all had happened. When I was released from her gaze, my legs gave out from under me and I slumped onto the ground. I wasn't able to lift a finger until Rena was out of sight.
Who was that?
I felt cold. My body was drenched in sweat. I was finally able to form a coherent thought and ask myself once again, who was that person? Looked like Rena Ryugu.
Well, that was a thing.
That was beautiful.
Boom! Getting creepy up in this biz. I was out of it and couldn't bring myself to do anything until dinner except stare blankly into space. Was I terrified from Rena going off on me? No, that's not right. That was someone else who only looked like Rena. Then who could have been? It was a dreadful feeling, knowing that there was someone else, not Rena. So tomorrow I shouldn't have a problem talking to Rena like I usually do. That thought was strangely comforting. I concluded that I should just calm down and clear my head, though those thoughts continued swirling around in my mind. Finally, I returned to my senses as I heard my mother calling out to me from the bottom of the steps.
Keiichi, it's a call from the bookstore.
Bookstore. Can't think of why they'd be calling me. I went downstairs and picked up the receiver anyway. My apologies for calling so late at night. It's me. Oh, this is Okay. It's Candy Cop.
My apologies for calling so late at night. It's me, Oishi of the Okinomiya bookshop. Oishi-san? Oh, it's Oishi-san! Sorry. Since your parents picked up, I said I was from the bookstore.
Can't all the parents?
It puts people off when I say I'm a police officer. I mean, I figure he recognized that it obviously wasn't Keiichi's voice.
Yeah. I know, but I mean, like, normally, like, well, I don't know what the fuck they do in Japan. They just talk to kids and not their parents.
I mean,
Candy Cop does. He is Candy Cop.
Yeah, it's true. Candy Cop was, in his own way, rather courteous, except for that. Even so, I didn't want my parents hearing me talk to the police. I brought the cordless phone with me as I dashed back up to
yeah,
my
they
room
might
on the
think
second
I'm
floor.
a narc.
Yeah, right. Snitches get stitches, Keiichi.
Sorry for calling so late. The phone number on the piece of paper I gave you yesterday was the old number. My apologies. Can you copy down the number I'm about to give you? Yeah. Okay.
He gave me the number for his direct line as I wrote it down. I thought that was the end of it, but he began making pointless small talk, and it was pretty hard to hang up.
So how's it been, my bar-san? Did anything strange happen recently?
I see. This was the real reason. He really beat around the bush there. His adult conversational skills left me slack-jawed.
Are you from around here, Leisha-san? Yeah, I am. Born and raised in Okinomiya.
If he's from around here, he might know.
Oishi-san, do you know what this Onikakushi thing is about? I believe that's when somebody suddenly vanishes because they've been abducted by a demon. It's a special saying from around here. It has the same meaning as spirited away, like everyone else says. Isn't the name of this arc Onikakushi?
Yes, it is.
Cool.
Whereas my friends would say they didn't know when I asked, this older man gave me a direct answer. It made me a bit happy that he answered me directly without trying to hide anything.
Inamizawa was... not sure if I should tell you this, my bar. Don't try to play this off. If you're not going to talk, then I'm not going to tell you anything. No. That's not what I meant. It's just, it may make you feel bad. You see, long ago, Hinamizawa was feared as the village where demons reside. Demons? By demons, you mean those pitchfork carrying things in hell? More like human eating monsters. They'd go down to villages, snatching people up and gobbling them down. That kind of tale.
Demon snatching up people is what this onikakushi really means.
They said that the curse and being demoned away happened together. What is that? Oh, that's Keiichi. What does that mean?
I already knew about the mysterious deaths happening 5 years in a row, but I didn't know there were people disappearing for those same 5 years.
The curse and being demoned away happened together. First I've heard of that. Is that how it is, my Bara? That's what I want to know. I heard Rena and Mion talking. They said that if it was really Oyashiro-sama's curse, then both the curse and demoning away would happen.
Candy Cop began hemming and hawing at the other end of the receiver. Maybe something about that came to mind?
My Bara, do you know the first incident? The murder by dismemberment? Yeah, one of the 6 perpetrators is still on the run, right? Hypothetically. What if he isn't on the run, but was demoned away?
It was an outrageous hypothesis from Candy Cop. The incident 4 years ago was the particularly ghastly one. The police already knew the perpetrators, so they posted tons of wanted posters with his face on them. They staked out various locations and investigated every possible escape route he had. But after 4 years, there wasn't even a hint of where he might be, unless the police were completely incompetent. Even if it was an outrageous hypothesis, I couldn't simply laugh it off.
And what about the incident the next year, when the man who supported the project and his wife both died in an accident? Well, actually, it was only the husband who died in an accident. His wife's body never surfaced. Unless we find the body, then it's considered a missing person by law.
At the time of the incidents, with the river below the cliff being muddy rapids, the police divers had searched every branch off the main stream of the river for dozens of miles, but in the end they weren't able to find the body.
But that's just them not being able to find the body. She's still dead, right? Isn't that different from her being demoned away? We cannot say someone is dead without their body. Until a certain number of years pass, by law, she's treated as still alive.
I'm not sure if it was right to call that being demoned away. The wife is missing. At least that part was reality.
How about the 3rd year? The Shinto priest died of illness, and his wife committed suicide. My Bara, that's actually the exact same scenario.
The wife had supposedly thrown herself into the bottomless marsh deep in the forest around Hinamizawa, meaning it's all circumstantial evidence. They simply found her suicide note in front of the marsh. A diver was able to recover a few remnants, but they weren't able to find a body. The investigative headquarters believed that she had faked her death and was still alive somewhere.
I'm not sure if we could call these cases as being demoned away. It's just as you said. Every year, one person does go missing. The incident this year, the woman with hot photographer has gone missing. Then what about the incident with the housewife beaten to death? Who went missing? I believe the perpetrator was caught, right? Yeah, we arrested him. He was just a miscreant with a record of narcotics abuse. He admitted to the crime while being questioned about a different incident. But, well, you see, after he was arrested, a child from the victim's home went missing. It's still under investigation as to whether the disappearance had anything to do with the crime. But you said you caught him, right? Did he have an accomplice? No idea. It's considered a separate case. Moreover, we can't even check. Because while under that investigation, that man, he died in his holding cell. He swallowed a spork and choked to death.
What?
Well,
What?
that's impressive.
It's not known whether it was
It's
an
not.
accident or suicide.
Meaning, for the last 5 years, there's always one person who dies and one who goes missing?
That was a really good switch between voices there.
Thanks, I guess. That's about right. No, actually, I'm surprised as well. I never realized they had that in common.
I couldn't believe that this could help lead to the closing of those incidents. It was just something they had in common.
Could it be that those demoned away have something in common?
Candy Cop mumbled as he seemed to be thinking about it. So I summarized the events. The first year was the employee. Wait, this is actually speaking, so.
First year was the dam employee. Second year was the wife of a dam project supporter. Third year was the wife of the Shinto priest. Fourth year was the victim's family's child, and the fifth year was the victim's girlfriend, I guess. Doesn't seem like there's anything that connects them. With the exception of the first year, wives and girlfriends, those do stand out.
It does seem like there are a lot. And that means the fourth year's victim's child was different. It would have really stood out if it were all married couples, except it's not just married couples, but parents and children as well. Come to think of it, I believe Photographer-san also told me the younger brother is alive and has moved, if I recall correctly. The child that went missing in the fourth year, who were they? Oh, sorry. Oops.
Apparently, he was quite mature. 1 year older than you. His name was Satoshi Hojo-san.
Ooh.
Satoshi?
I remembered that name. Didn't they tell me Satoshi transferred out last year?
He was at your school up until last year. Didn't they tell you anything about him?
Come to think of it, when I transferred in, I believe they said my seat belonged to a recent transfer student. Then, where I sat once belonged to the one who was demoned away. It was his seat? I recalled the cold sensation that came from that desk. It made my hair stand on end. The string of mysterious deaths. No, Oyashiro-sama's curse. I now knew how it connected to me. That chilling sensation, it was the feeling of Oyashiro-sama caressing the back of my neck.
Oyashiro-sama's curse? Huh?
Could Oyashiro-sama's curse really exist? In all honesty, I was beginning to believe it. And I was scared. That was why I wanted to say it was a plot crafted by man and not by the work of a curse. But the more I dug into it, the less likely that seemed. No, the more I dug, the more mysterious it became. If I kept digging, eventually, I'd reach the point where I learned something I really, really shouldn't know. To either be none the wiser or to seek an answer I may regret. Which one would I be happier with? Maybe it'll be me next time. My execution could be only be delayed for 1 year. That was when I remembered. Rena. Rena said she may be the next victim of the curse.
You mean Rena Ryugu? She transferred in last year, and she's your classmate, isn't she?
These incidents. Oh wait, no, it's still him. That.
These incidents might be a bit too disturbing for a girl. She's not just scared, is she?
It wasn't that. She said it might be her next. She said it in a way that made me think that she had a concrete reason behind it.
Felt like she was convinced. Almost as if, you could say
She was frightened.
she was.
Her sudden change in demeanor, that someone who looked like Rena but wasn't Rena, that might be unrelated. All the strange things that I felt from Rena today came back to me.
I see. Then I'll be doing a little bit of investigating on this end. Please continue your observations of Ryuko-san, my Bara-san. Are you asking me to keep Rena under surveillance? That's not what I mean, my Bara. I just want you to watch out for your friend so she doesn't end up the next victim.
At that moment, just as my mouth was agape because I was so impressed with his mature, clever way with words. A sudden knock at the door sent my heart racing. In an instant, I had pointlessly covered up the end of the receiver.
Keiichi, get the door, please.
On the other side of the door, I heard my father's all the upbeat voice. That's Bob Ross! What could it be? It's so late.
Sorry, my dad just came in. Can we leave it at this for tonight? Yeah. My apologies again for calling so late. If you find out anything else, please let me know. I'll let you know if I make any progress on this end. Well then, have a pleasant evening.
Keiichi, hurry up and open it. Daddy's got his hands full. What is Dad doing? I had stayed in the same position while on the phone the whole time, so my joints were aching. When I opened the door, I saw my father was standing there with the tray. On that tray, cookies and 2 cups of black tea. A fairly fancy spread for our household. There was even sugar and lemon slices on the side. Everything you could ask for. It's quite the show of hospitality.
What's going on, Dad? What's all this for?
Come now.
Come now!
Oh, you had
Don't play around, Keiichi! I'm coming in!
Dad was in high spirits and had a smirk on his face. But for my entire life, I've never seen him act this hospitable. What had gotten into him?
It's a girl! So, what were you talking about?
I jumped. It's not something I had to keep from my father. And how could I explain to him that I was talking to a detective, I'm assuming he was, this late at night?
Nothing much. Just a friend. I don't mean the phone. She was here, wasn't she? Rena!
That's creepy.
Yeah. Hmm?
She wasn't here. Come now, don't try to keep it from me. She just came over to play. You two were chatting away, so I thought I'd bring some tea, but it looks like I just missed her.
I had no idea what Dad was talking about, but a cold sweat dripped down my back.
How long were we talking? Rena went upstairs about half after, so it was close to an hour, I guess. You saw her come up to the second floor? Yeah, I did. I also told her that your room was the door down the hall up the stairs.
Oh boy. Rena came to my house about an hour ago. Dad met her at the door and called out to me on the second floor. I probably didn't hear him because I was so focused on my conversation with Candy Cop. I didn't reply, but he knew I was in my room, so he had her come inside. Then told her my room was on the second floor. She thanked my dad and went upstairs. Then about an hour passed. She passed by my dad just as he was bringing up tea and left. She came upstairs about an hour passed. Then passed my dad and returned home. Then, after she came upstairs and until she left, where was Rena? There's only a short hallway between my room and the stairs, meaning Rena had, for about an hour, in the hall. No, she couldn't have been standing in front of my door all that time. The door to my room wasn't particularly thick. You could easily hear everything being said inside. All of the ominous things and all of the nonsense I spoke to Candy Cop about began rushing through my head.
Honey, don't tease him. More importantly, you need to clean up your studio. It's a mess again.
Mom yelled at Dad Mom yelled up at Dad from downstairs. Dad left the tray with me and went downstairs with a disappointed chortle. I followed my dad out of the room with my eyes. I looked down around the floor of the doorway where Rena might have stood all that time. Just now, as I was talking to Candy Cop, with my back turned, Rena was standing a mere 6 feet away. The whole time? All that time.
Social distancing.
In this dimly lit doorway. What did she see? What did she hear? For what reason? As the steam from the 2 teacups ominously wafted and twisted, the aroma of black tea filled my room. And you can't tell your parents that she never actually talked to you?
I mean, I think he did, sort of. Try to tell his dad, but dad.
Oh, this is one of the things where, like, they're not gonna believe.
Yeah.
Lies!
Excellent.
Well, first things first.
Let's, save.
Save.
End of chapter 8.
Good.
What do we got new for tips? One new. July 1st, 1982. To Departments 1 through 12. Ex-Prefecture Police Headquarters. Director General X. To the Chief Constable and all facility managers. Regarding cases situated in the Hinamizawa village, notice. As cases in Shishibone City, Hinamizawa village must have reported by certain sections of mass media. It has drawn global attention, which is causing serious repercussions for the local residents. This has become a very serious situation. To protect the livelihood and prosperity of the residents, the following notice has been issued. 1. Designate the following criminal investigations as classified. Okinomiya Station, 1982, case number X. Hinamizawa Village housewife murder, dated June X. Okinomiya Station, 1982, case number X. Hinamizawa Village student disappearance, dated June X. Non-disclosure of information. Okinomiya Station, 1979, case number X. Hinamizawa Village site foreman murder, dated June X. Shira Station, 1980, case number X. Shira Natural Park falling incident, dated June X. Okinomiya Station, 1981, case number X. Hinamizawa Village Shinto priest wife's disappearance, dated June X. 3. Requesting self-restraint from each organization concerning the release of sensitive information. Please see attached reference materials 1, 2, and 3. Management, Ex-Prefecture Police Headquarters. Internal line X. Police Affairs Department XXXX.
So basically, the police were asked to keep classified everything that happened in Hinamizawa.
Yeah.
Or at least, it
For the
seems...
last 5 years.
At least all the Onikakushi...
At least all the curse incidents, looks like.
Karubi says hi. Hi, Karubi Chips! Are they making more mead? Or I don't... They were making mead last time, right? I need more drink. Ugh. Second.
More drink is always good.
Yep. All right. It getting creepy up in this biz. Weariness and a headache. Not a very nice way to start the day. Tasting mead and Stream Raiders. Nice. And more bread. Oh, someday I want to try some of Kirby's bread. I think that's a dad?
What's wrong,
A mom.
Casey?
Shit.
You don't look so well. When did you go to sleep?
It seemed that my dad had noticed my sullen state. Yesterday, I kept on waking up in the middle of the night. Without a doubt, I felt a presence. I felt the presence of someone standing in front of my door. Okay. I told myself repeatedly that it was my imagination and forced myself to try and sleep. Except, not being able to stand it, I gathered up my courage and opened the door. Of course, there wasn't anyone there. I think I did it 3 times throughout the night.
Of course there wasn't anybody there, my boy.
Or maybe I just didn't remember doing it any more than that. Even though I was able to get it to the breakfast table without incident, I still didn't feel at ease.
Might be a cold. I don't really have an appetite.
My, you do seem a little warm. Well, can you make it to school?
Technically, I did go to a school, but it was mostly self-study. It wouldn't matter much if I missed a day, would it? It could have been that I hadn't been feeling well for the last few days because I really did have a cold. If I took some medicine and got a good day of rest, I might be able to greet everyone with a smile tomorrow. Startled, I looked back and forth between the entrance and the clock. It was 10 minutes later than when I usually met up with Renna. It was Renna.
Renna-chan came to get you. What are you going to do? Are you going to take the day off?
Renna was a good girl. She might be somewhat quirky, but she was certainly cute. The lunches she made were delicious, and she always looked out for me. Why should I be so scared of something like that? It wasn't Renna's fault. It was probably mine. It had to have been my cold. It just had to be.
I'll rest. Sorry.
Then I'll go send her off for you.
Mom headed off to the door. I would have to pass by the entrance to get back to my room. I didn't have the nerve to meet with Renna, so I wrapped myself in a blanket on the sofa and closed my eyes. I was so sleep deprived I quickly fell into a deep slumber. I'd only intended to lie down for a bit, but it was almost noon when I woke up. I called out to my parents, but they didn't seem to be around. On the table I found lunch prepared in a note. Mom and Dad had apparently driven off to somewhere far away. It likely had to do with Dad's work. This happened every so often, so it wasn't that unusual. That they would probably be back sometime after dinner. On the note it said, "The insurance card is in the cabinet, take it and go to the hospital." There was also a well-drawn map to the hospital. That's right. I hadn't been there before, so I didn't know exactly where it was. I had a light lunch, although it really was just leftovers from the morning, and just in case went to the hospital. Normally I'd never be here in the middle of a weekday. Just walking around like this had me feeling guilty. It was an odd feeling. Following my mom's map, I took a road I'd never used. After walking for a bit, the hospital sign came into view. Irie Clinic was written rather stylishly on the sign. The clinic wasn't very big, but based on the scale of the rest of Hinamizawa, it was far too grand. There was a parking lot and even a reserved spot for buses. They must be making a mint. I spaced out in the air-conditioned waiting room until it was my turn to be seen.
Mabara-san, please make your way to the examination room.
After properly answering all the chatty doctor's questions, he responded with the old, "It's probably a cold." They gave me a shot and 3 days' worth of medicine. I thought it was a little overboard, but if it would clear away the gloomy feeling I'd been having lately, then it was worth it. I settled the bill and took a quick trip to the washroom. As I was leaving, I overheard a conversation between some elderly people who seemed to be regulars at the clinic. Of course, I had no intention of eavesdropping. If it just wasn't for that word.
Master Ben and Oni Kakashi.
I wonder. She was still pretty young.
Yeah, it's hard not to eavesdrop on that.
Might have just eloped there.
What? at him?
That man from Tokyo who visits every season. He's so hot. Who wouldn't? The young one with the big camera.
Thanks, bye, Grandpa.
Didn't you know that they were getting along pretty well?
Were they talking about Hot Photographer Son? I can feel my ears perking up.
Oh, I don't know about that, Sonny boy, but you have to make preparations before you elope. Leave a note or quit their job or something.
It's an elopement because they didn't leave a note or message. Don't you know anything?
Oh, I know everything. Just the thought of that I'll never see that young nurse's face again, makes me rather sad.
I love how it just turned into it just turned into Monokuma.
Oh, I know he was a good-looking man. Takano-san is an upstanding young woman, though. She'll be fine wherever she goes.
So her name was Takano-san? That woman with Hot Photographer Zone? And she worked at this clinic? Orishiro-sama's shadow was following me everywhere I went. I started listening more closely, but they began talking about fishing and it didn't really seem like they were going to revisit the topic. I gave up and left. Thus, even though I was separated from the daily monotony of school, I wasn't able to escape from Orishiro-sama's shadow. But of course, Orishiro-sama was the guardian deity of this place, of Hinamizawa. As long as I was in Hinamizawa, I wouldn't be able to escape. And now we know that everyone liked the big camera.
Yes, the big camera.
Big,
Shake it like
camera.
a Polaroid picture.
Yeah, shake your dick real good. Helicopter that shit.
Oh my gosh.
That's why Mion wanted Keiji to whip it.
Oh yeah! Whip it out for me, boy! Helicopter that shit!
His old man wants to see like that bi old man from the clinic. Maybe because I was walking outside, but my appetite had suddenly returned. I might as well buy a snack with the change from the examination fee on the way home. Contemplating that, I turned onto a familiar street. At that moment, I heard a car horn abruptly honk behind me. Was I really walking so far in the middle of the road where I'd be in a car's way? I moved farther off to the side, but the horn was still honking at me. I turned around, peeved.
My Bara sound. Good day to you.
It was Candy Cop. He stepped out of his car, AC on full blast, and waved at me.
What's up today? School on break? Just not feeling well, so I took the day off. I was about to buy lunch and head back home. That's great. I'm just about to get lunch myself. Would you mind going together?
He
Yes,
just
I'll
said
give
that
you
he
this
wasn't
cold.
Feeling good.
Yeah.
If you're not feeling up for it, then don't mind me.
I was just going to lie down after going home anyway, and I didn't really have a cold.
I doubt you'd want to eat at one of these local places. Let's go into town. It's a bit of a drive, is that all right?
I finally began to understand Candy Cop's roundabout way of saying things. He probably wanted to talk to me about stuff that would be difficult to discuss while in Hinamizawa. I went with Candy Cop, riding in his frigid car. It was almost as if the bright sunlight outside was a lie.
I'm sorry about calling you so late last night. Did your parents get angry at you? No.
I recalled Rena, who had been listening to the phone conversation all the time, separated from me by just the door. Even now, in the brightness of the sunlight, thought still creeped me out. With a big bump that jolted the car, the road connecting to the city changed from dirt to pavement. My head swiveled back with a sudden realization. That's right. This is where Hot Photographer's son died.
They've hit a snag on the investigation regarding Tomatake, hot photographer.
Candy Cop spoke while peering at me from the corner of his eye.
They believe it was caused by hallucinogens, given how he was clawing out his own throat. But a drug that could cause that to happen so suddenly is extremely hard to come by. Bear in mind, the autopsy was done with that premise in mind. We didn't find any lead. You know that thing you see in comics all the time? Where there's a drug that if you put it in them, it doesn't leave any traces. It exists. Succinyl something or other. Well, it's pretty common. But you see, there doesn't seem to be any kind of drug that would cause Hot Photographer to react like that. Then you're saying the police concluded Hot Photographer just died from the curse?
I couldn't help but feel that the police were worthless.
Eh.
Mood. I just wanted the idea of a curse to be disassociated from Hot Photographer's son's mysterious death.
Unfortunately, that's how it looks right now. But putting aside the cause of death, without a doubt, he was surrounded by a group of people and had taken a beating before he died. That was no curse, but an incident that unquestionably involved other humans.
That made me a bit relieved. We passed in front of the rather desolate, but still busier than Hinamizawa train station. The car pulled into a restaurant parking lot, and I followed Candy Cop into the shop. It was pretty crowded, but there were only adults at this hour. Of course, there wouldn't be children in here in the middle of a weekday.
Two, please. Non-smoking. This way, please. When you're ready to order, please call me over.
We were led by a peculiarly dressed waitress to our table. I sat with Candy Cop in the booth.
So, what do you think? Aren't the waitress's outfits here cute? Well, I guess? This shop is always quite busy. It's more about the waitresses than the food, you see.
Did Candy Cop take him to a Hooters?
Either that or something equivalent.
Maid.
Oishi-san, you're leering.
Maido Cafe.
Am I really?
Regardless of how the waitresses looked, the food was decent enough. Finishing our meals while talking about some inane topic, Candy Cop's after-meal cup of coffee arrived at the table.
Yesterday we talked about Hinamizawa's past, didn't we? Yeah, that was the village of man-eating demons, or something like that. I didn't know much about it myself, so I asked my grandmother about it this morning.
Candy Cop took out the notepad that was stuffed into his breast pocket.
Turns out that Hinamizawa used to be called Onigafuchi. Fuchi?
Fuchi.
Fuchi. Or Ogre's Abyss. Ogre's Abyss. Onigafuchi. That's quite the name. The name is still around. The marsh where the Shinto priest's wife drowned herself is still called Ogre's Abyss. It's said that the depths of that marsh connect to the realm of demons.
Of course, nobody had told me anything about such an ominous marsh.
And you see, it appears they were both feared and revered.
A respect born of fear. I guess you could say it was a kind of deification. A village of inhuman creatures.
Seems the demons were Senin, or mountain-dwelling mystics of some sorts, taking villagers with incurable illnesses into the ogre's abyss and healing them, for example.
Even if we were calling them demons, Tengu, long-nosed goblins, or Senin would be a more apt description.
Didn't seem like they were such terrible people, even though they were called demons. But they were still man-eating demons, according to the story my grandma told me. As payment for treating the son's illness, let us eat the mother who brought him here, was apparently how things went. Price of curing her son was herself? That's, unsettling. Of course, the mother took her son and ran. Then, you see, all the people who lived in Onigafuchi. The demons chased them down, rounded them up, and captured them.
The entire village, apparently. That's quite a frightening thing to imagine.
In the end, it seems both the mother and son were caught and eaten. The end. There's a problem with this story. Both witnesses in the story were eaten, so nobody would be able to tell the truth. Huh? There are plenty of old fables like this.
In contrast to the ghastly tale, Candy Cop laughed heartily while sipping his coffee.
But, well, there are quite a few other tales where the demons from Onigafuchi band together to capture their prey.
I recalled that Mion said that all the villagers united and fought against the dam construction. I saw similarities with how that part about unification overlapped.
Normally, they hunted down a single person, and they chose who it was going to be beforehand. Huh?
That caught my attention. Candy Cop also appeared to be pondering what it meant.
My grandmother told me that you must never interfere with the demon's hunt. You should just hole up in your house and hide under the covers, she said. So, what does this all mean? It means you mustn't ever help or protect the prey. As long as you don't disturb the demon's hunt, no harm will fall upon the villagers. It seems there's that kind of rule.
Basically, don't help the victims. Pretend you didn't see the atrocities, in other words.
What happens if you break the rule? Well, they're man-eating demons after all.
Many parts of that tale caught my attention. Parts of the story he told me overlapped with his theory that the perpetrators were all the village families. Even if it wasn't the whole village, it was conceivable the villagers were hiding under the covers and leaving them to die when there's a group that was on their hunt, wasn't it? I didn't dare speak it.
Then, Oishi-san, I guess it looks like it's either the village families or a group of villagers perpetrating the crimes. What do you think, my bar? Ah, excuse me. Another cup of coffee, please.
That's what I wanted to know. It seemed that we were both waiting for the other to say that last part. I waited for the waitress to finish pouring coffee before speaking.
Last year, I had a nagging feeling when Satoshi-kun disappeared.
Candy Cop muttered as he watched the milk swirl around in his coffee.
So those friends of Satoshi, meaning your group of friends, my bar, I had a bit, really just a little bit, okay? A background checking done on them.
If Candy Cop had said this to me before, I would have been furious since he told me earlier not to suspect my friends. But as I was now, I couldn't.
This might sound pretty stupid. My bar, if you think it's stupid, please say so. I'll just stop.
Candy Cop was wearing the most serious expression that I'd ever seen from him. It was as if he was telling me to prepare myself and listen. There were quite a few things I regretted hearing from Candy Cop, but none of them were as threatening as this. A little voice inside me was screaming like an alarm. Stop, Keiichi. This is probably the last one. I took a deep breath and silenced that voice. I would not run from the truth.
Please.
That was all I could utter. Candy Cop stared into my eyes silently for a few moments. After he was certain I was ready, he began.
The victim of the incident in the first year was the overseer. A few weeks prior, he had an altercation with Mion Sonozaki-san. Multiple altercations.
Candy Cop had said before that Mion had defied the dam project vehemently. Well, it wasn't hard to imagine how she'd be if she got worked up.
In the second year, the married couple who supported the project died in that accident, right? They had a daughter. Her name is Satoko Hojo-san. Huh? Satoko meaning Satoko?
Candy Cop's look told me that my voice was too loud. I realized it as well and quickly quieted down.
The Shinto priest and his wife who died in the third year. You see, their daughter is Rika Furude-san. Rika was the housewife who died in the fourth year. You know already, don't you? It was the step-aunt of Satoko Hojo. She was in her aunt and uncle's custody, as she had lost both of her parents in the accident. She lived in the victim's house.
I could tell my lips were getting dry. I didn't even have the wits to keep my mouth from hanging agape. I had thought it was nothing but a bizarre incident, one that I could easily distance myself from. But clicking and clacking, it stuck all the way to my feet.
The one who disappeared in the fourth year, by the way, he was Satoko's older brother. But just wait a second.
It took everything I had to finally say that. I gulped down a glass of water and once again wiped my face with a napkin. Calm down, Keiichi Maebara. But Candy Cop was relentless. Instead of waiting for me to finish sorting out my feelings, he started speaking again. The last of the things I shouldn't have heard.
All of the victims seem to be connected to your group of friends. This has to be just a coincidence. Libara, keep it down. Everyone's looking.
Mion? Satoko? Rika-chan? So what if they're connected? You're telling me all of my friends? It couldn't be. It just couldn't be. Oh, Rena's different, isn't she? Rena isn't connected with the victims at all. Rena
Ryugu was living in a suburb of Ibaraki Prefecture up until last year. Well, it's true she hadn't directly met any of the victims.
He said it in a roundabout way. Is he saying she's also connected?
Actually, I looked into her. Before Ryugu-san moved away to Hinamizawa, she was suspended from school. Seems she went through her school building and broke all of the windows. Rena did that? She broke all the windows at her school.
That same silly Rena had? I couldn't even imagine it.
Seems that after her 3-day suspension, she didn't return to school. She went to a neurologist and was diagnosed with dysautonomia. She was given weeks of counseling and medication.
I wonder if it was something like a nervous breakdown. I heard that it
real-
happens to people who are really methodical or overly sensitive.
Is that a real thing?
Dysautonomia?
I'll go Google.
Yeah.
Apparently it is, in fact, a real thing. Huh.
Neither of those matched Rena's easygoing personality.
And in the counselor's medical report, he recorded all of the Oh, this ought to be good.
Oh boy.
He recorded all of the conversations he had with Rena-san. It shows up. And quite a bit of that. What did?
I pressed forward carelessly. There couldn't be anything more for me to regret.
She mentioned the word Oyashiro-sama.
I felt like someone's stone cold hand was caressing my back.
Oh, God.
Oh no.
Why? Why had Rena spoken of Oyashiro-sama before she even came to Hinamizawa?
Seems that the Oyashiro-sama she spoke of was like a ghost appearing in her house every night. Standing over her pillow, looking down at her.
My mind froze. I couldn't process what I was being told.
A while after that, she moved to Hinamizawa. Ah, that's right. She's not an outsider. Huh? According to their residency register, the Ryugu family used to reside in Hinamizawa. Rena moved to Ibaraki right after she finished elementary school.
My mind went completely blank. It was similar to the static you'd see on a blank TV channel. My ears began ringing as I lost all sense of comprehension.
My Bada-san, are you all right? Shall we stop?
Those words brought me back. I couldn't let it end here.
Now I understand Rena. Then how about the last victim? Hot photographer. Who was he connected with?
Irritated, I let out one final reprisal.
All of them. Have you forgotten, my Bara? Didn't you all spend the night of the festival together quite merrily? Quite a few of the officers saw you enjoying yourselves.
Now there was nothing I could respond with. I fell silent as my brain turned to mush.
We should get going. Ah, my Bara-san, did you take your afternoon medicine?
I'd completely forgotten about the medicine I'd gotten today until Candy Cop said that. I got another glass of water, and we left the shop after I chugged it down. We got in the car and returned to Hinamizawa via the rough road. I never really paid attention when I was on my bike, but did cars normally shake this much? It was almost as if the road was desperately trying to tell me something. That big jolt was from the difference in elevation of the road when it changed from cement to dirt. I was certain that I heard Hot Photographer-san scream. I sat in silence, just letting myself be shaken by the car.
I'll drop you off at your house. You missed school because you were ill, correct? My apologies for the long conversation. Why did you talk to me?
I blurted out the question. Really just blurted it out. I didn't expect an answer.
I did check with you first, didn't I? If we should just stop. Not that! Why did you reach out to me?
I understood quite well that Candy Cop was investigating the string of suspicious incidents. But why was he telling me all this? Oh, you're going to watch more Ava, Tommy? Oh, good luck. I knew nothing and I couldn't help. Everything Candy Cop spoke of was news to me. First of all, what could I, having just moved here, know? By chance, if there was a reason for Candy Cop to reach out to me, then it would have to be that I looked suspicious to Candy Cop, as I was part of Neon's circle of friends.
I'm retiring this year. I plan on moving away after retiring, as my grandma wants. So while I'm still on the case, I want to bring the truth behind this incident to light. So, Oishi-san, you suspect them, don't you? All of them.
He's just about to go in retirement. Candy Cop didn't really give a response. It felt a little late, but I thought it was his way of showing a bit of consideration for my feelings.
He's not gonna make it to retirement, is he?
Who knows?
This is mostly my intuition from 30 years on this job. My Bara-san, you're the one in danger.
I love this background music.
It is nice. It's nice twinkly piano.
Very nice.
Huh?
I wanted to reply with, that was absurd, but in my downtrodden state, I couldn't bring myself to say it.
I'll be retiring this year. So I won't be at the Watanagashi next year. So I want to settle things.
In other words, he was insinuating that on the next Watanagashi, I might be the victim.
I've been warned by the chief as well. Each incident in the string of cases has been solved, so don't bring it up again, or so I was told. This is the pressure that I'm facing. Pressure from what? Someone in Hinamizawa. We've arrived. Is this fine?
After some time, the car finally reached the path to my house. The clock read 2 p.m. I was surprised so little time had passed since we ate. It was hot outside the car. The chirping of the Higurashi hurt my ears.
I won't mind if you just forget everything I told you today. But I'm still going to keep investigating. I'll end Oyashiro-sama's curse this year. So you're saying I should contact you if anything happens? It's fine. Just contact me when you feel you have to, my Bara-san.
I wasn't collected enough to understand Candy Cop's roundabout way of saying it.
Be sure to take it easy. I'm sorry for throwing all this at you while you're taking the day off because you're sick.
I didn't really give any sort of response.
I'll always be on your side. If anything, believe that. I'll be off now.
The tires crunched over the dirt road as the car made a U-turn and disappeared into a cloud of kicked-up dust. It felt like I was watching a boat only throw me a lifesaver in shark-infested waters before disappearing into the distance. That was the first time I thought Candy Cop was being unfair, telling me I was going to be the next victim, then just saying to contact him if something happened. This wasn't a criminal investigation. He was fishing, and I was just the bait dangling off the line. Would the fish be the perpetrator? Or was it really just Oyashiro-sama's curse? Either way, the bait would be swallowed whole.
Damn it. I don't want to die.
For some time, I could do nothing but stare at the puddle of water left behind by the AC from the car.
Well, shit.
Well, we got murder.
We got murder.
We sure do.
We got the murder.
It went from like literally a lighthearted thing with a little bit of investigating to murder.
All this murder. Wait, was that?
I think this is still
Escape?
the same chapter.
I think so.
Yeah.
It's still the same chapter. Okay. You still okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. I wonder how much time had passed since I laid down. It was getting dark outside. My body was soaked in sweat. It would probably be a good idea to change my sheets. At that moment, the phone downstairs rang. It was probably Mom. Mom was quite the worrywart. Maybe she had called many times, but I just didn't notice it.
Hello, this is the My Bar residence.
Oh, he's alive! Hello, this is Mion. How are you doing?
Oh, is this Mom answering?
I think that's Mom.
Guess so.
Is this one of Keiichi's friends? Keiichi is resting right now, but shall I put him on?
Oh, his dad.
Oh, Dad.
Huh? Is this his dad? So sorry.
Idiot! Oh, it's Keiichi.
Oh.
You fell for it.
Huh? K-Chan? After our exchange, we both had a good laugh together. Except I was suspicious of her even as we were laughing. Was everybody really involved in the incidents? The fact that I couldn't say no saddened me. I'm relieved that you seem well. Rena was really worried, you know? Satoko-chan was happy and said you got what you deserved. Rika-chan said, how unfortunate he's sick.
Looks like everyone was making a big deal out of it.
Well, you know. So, Kei-chan, is now a bad time to come pay you a visit?
Is it? No, it's okay. It's not like I'm dying.
My grandma made a ton of mochi, you see. I was told to share them, so I'll bring you some.
Hey now, you'll catch my cold.
Not to worry, both Rena and I are too stupid to catch a cold. See you! Be there in a bit. She hung up cheerfully. That is a Japanese thing, isn't it? Stupid people don't get colds.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Rena's coming too? That's what it sounded like. I was still concerned about meeting Rena, but I guess if she was with Mion.
Yay? Question mark?
I heard the doorbell 10 minutes later. How are you feeling? Did you take your medicine and rest?
I did just that.
Thank goodness you look well. I was worried.
Sorry, I'll be fine by tomorrow.
Mion showed a complete lack of concern for someone who's recovering, and Rena looked like she was worried about me from the bottom of her heart. It didn't look like there was anything behind those expressions. I thought we might hang out for a bit, but it looks like you're not quite in the condition for it.
You don't say?
It seemed my face appeared a bit sullen.
Then here, Keiichi-kun. These are the mochi Mi-chan's grandma made.
Rena held out the package wrapped in newspaper. There might be about 5 in here. It was quite hefty.
Ah, thanks. Send my regards to your grandma, Mion.
Yep. Oh, there's one that I made in there as well. Wonder if Keiichi-kun can guess which one.
This is Kei-chan's homework since he missed the club meeting today. There are letters on each mochi, so I'll ask you tomorrow.
Were you checking if I was feeling better, or did you just come here for club activities?
Yep, looking fine. Guess you'll be able to make it tomorrow.
Man, what are you gonna do if my fever comes back because of your shenanigans?
Mi-chan, we shouldn't be making such a racket. Let's go. The other people here will get angry.
Both of them thought my parents were home. It was because the entranceway was a mess. You're right, let's get going. By the way, Kei-chan.
Yeah?
What did you eat for lunch? The sudden question startled me and I went wide-eyed when I saw Mion. I'd never seen her like that. It was a highly unsettling visage. But why is she asking me about what I ate for lunch? What she said was so inane it was almost meaningless. The way she said it, it was almost like she didn't even care at all about what I ate.
I ate out.
She must have suspected that I was with Candy Cop. Anyway, I felt that if I hesitated or tried to change the subject, then they'd read it too deeply into it. So I tried answering as quickly as possible. Except, contrary to the efforts I had made, there was a pause before they replied.
So you went out for lunch, Keiichi-kun?
The glimmer from Rena's eyes had changed at some point as well. It was now sharp, as if to make me feel the feigned ignorance behind her words even more. As if she already knew. That's how it looked to me.
Well, was it good?
Why are you asking me this?
Mion was speaking in an unusually low tone. Almost as if she knew that I'd eaten at the restaurant in town. No, I'm overthinking this. I mean, both of them should have been in school at lunchtime. There was no way they could have known where I was. Seems you're with a rather austere-looking older guy. Who was he? Flop. The package with the mochi I was holding slipped out of my hands. I could tell the blood had drained from my face, making me go pale.
Oh, Keiichi-kun? Who was he? Could it be the person from before, I wonder?
I could feel the back of my throat going dry. This was no longer a bluff. They knew everything?
How do you know that?
It took everything I had to finally force those words from my throat. My knees were shaking. Because there's nothing this old man doesn't know. Mion sneered knowingly, and her laugh seemed to carry on forever. So, Kei-chan, what did you talk about? It seems like you got pretty worked up over it, too.
We weren't talking about you guys. Didn't have anything to do with you or Rena.
Idiot.
Wow. That's Rena.
Oh, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it a bit strange to hear our names come up, even though nobody asked about that?
Rena's unwavering gaze pierced through my eyes and peered further inside me. I dug my own grave. My heart was throbbing so much it felt like I was going to explode. Well, whatever you're trying to hide, this old man already sees through it all. Remember that.
Do you?
I couldn't even shake my head. It took everything I had to stop my teeth from chattering. She never let her gaze break from mine, even as she tilted her head slightly.
Keiichi-kun, you don't look so good. I think you should lie down.
That's true. We should both head back home. As if nothing had happened, they both giggled at each other and started making their way out. I hadn't moved a muscle since I dropped the package of mochi. As I left, the door slowly closed behind them. All I could do was stare, as if I couldn't move until the door was completely closed. Just as the door was just about closed, it opened again slightly with a sudden creak, sending my heart racing once again. A single eye peered in through that narrow slit, and Mion's hawkish gaze peered at me once again. See you, Kei-chan.
Yeah.
hate it if you miss school tomorrow, all right? Thud. The door closed. I wasn't able to move a muscle even after their low laughter died off into the distance and silence once again enveloped the room. Coming back to my senses, the first thing I did was lock the door. They knew what Candy Cop and I talked about? Why? How? No, that wasn't important. Thinking about it now, all of it could have been overheard from the beginning when Candy Cop met me. Just as Mion said, I couldn't hide anything. Then, what were they trying to tell me? That part was obvious. They were warning me not to say anything unnecessary. What did they deem unnecessary? I only talked with Candy Cop about one thing, and they were warning me that that was unnecessary. What was it that Candy Cop talked to me about? The incidents involving Oyashiro-sama's curse that occurred every year weren't individual cases, but were connected as a whole. As well as the fact that there may be multiple perpetrators hidden within Hinamizawa. No, more precisely, that Mion, Rena, Satoko, and Rika-chan were all suspicious. Is that what they were warning me against?
What kind of nonsense am I thinking about?
I hit my own face hard enough that it let out a loud slap. If only that would wake me from this nightmare, but for some reason it felt like I was punching a blanket. It was almost laughably painless. Calm down, Keiichi Maebara. When did I become such a pessimist? Calm down, calm down. Settle down and sort things out. The reason Mion knew I was eating lunch with Candy Cop was probably because someone from Hinamizawa just happened to be there at the time. They must have told Mion that I was there. That made the most sense. Plus, come to think of it, she didn't ask me where I ate lunch, did she? She only asked, was it good? They were just curious since I was together with someone not from Hinamizawa. It's not as if they had any ulterior motives. That's it. That has to be it. Think about it that way, it was the same with Rena. I was just being strangely ambiguous about when I met with Candy Cop, and Rena was just correcting me on that. That's when I was bewildered by the change in character from the usual mild-mannered Rena and was just startled by it. That's the most natural way of thinking about it. It felt like my mind was mixed up like a tangled mess of spaghetti. Deep red marinara sauce would have been poured down my nose and ears if you squeezed my head. Thinking that, I suddenly felt like vomiting. I really didn't want that to happen, so I stopped holding my head. Lately, I had no idea what anyone was saying. Spending time with them was fun. It didn't feel like there was any sort of hidden agenda. I really do think that they're a good bunch of people. When I just moved here and couldn't make heads or tails of everything, they were really kind to me. Rena was really kind and always looked after me. As long as that strange affliction didn't rear its ugly head, she was really pretty cute. Mion was also a really good person. She didn't care about anyone's age or gender and was optimistic and outgoing. I was never bored when I was with her. And talking of not getting bored, rambunctious Satoko was a good person for that too. She was pretty bratty, but that was just the way she interacted with others. Rika-chan was the same way. She didn't speak often, but that didn't mean she was always silent. They're my friends. But after hearing of the better untold secrets of Hinamizawa from Candy Cop and Hot Photographer, when I was told about Oyashiro-sama's curse, things started going crazy. Then hearing from Candy Cop that Mion, Rena, Satoko, and Rika-chan were all suspicious. After that, everyone changed. That's right. It all started getting weird after Candy Cop told me all that strange stuff. At that time, I really should have just not listened to those weird stories. And I even shouldn't have heard about the past incidents from Hot Photographer the night of the Watanagashi. If I just hadn't gotten that strange sense of curiosity, if I just hadn't. That's right. So that's why they... What?
Killed?
That's why they fucked Hot Photographer's son.
Nope, it's definitely fucked. It's definitely fucked.
Yeah, so that's why they fucked Hot Photographer's son. That impudent outsider speaking to the likes of me after everybody went out of their way to keep it a secret from me. They'll probably fuck Candy Cop as well. For trying to unearth what everybody was warning me was better left buried. Besides that, he was unforgivable for speaking words that made me doubt the others. Of course a guy like that is going to be fucked. But the Hot Photographer's son and Candy Cop were nothing but outsiders after all. They were entities that couldn't coexist with the people of Hinamizawa. This guy should just fall till he hears someone's cursing, just fuck off. It wasn't their fault. It was my fault for not being able to hold back my curiosity. It wasn't their fault. 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 I settled into a daze. It was a lethargic feeling like I had just gotten up, but the ominous chill that haunted me had subsided. I was fine now. I was no longer frightened. I'd completely recovered. I'll go to school tomorrow, right as rain. I'll greet everyone. I'll take part in club activities. It'll definitely be fun. It had to be fun. I was one of them, after all.
Ah, that reminds me. I need to eat this mochi. I hope I'm able to tell which one Rena meant.
I remembered the homework the two brought with them when they visited me. But wow, our club did delivery. That was something else. I picked up the package I dropped on the floor and headed into the living room. It would be nice, I guess, to have some tea with it. To fill my mouth with mochi while drinking tea. Oh, this is quite a delectable situation I was in. Opening up the newspaper wrapping, there were 5 plump red bean paste mochi fit snugly inside. There were letters written from left to right on the newspaper. A, B, C, D, and E. Now then, they said Rena made one of these. I wonder which one. There wasn't much difference in how they looked. They smelled and appeared about the same. This was a pretty difficult problem. The biggest difference was probably their shape. I wasn't sure what kind of person Mion's grandma was, but Rena's had to be different from hers. Looking carefully, I could see one mochi that was made very neatly. So, well, that, just by staring at it, one could tell it stood out.
Looks like this challenge depends on whether or not this one is Rena's.
Calm down and think even harder. Mion had said her grandma made a ton of them and was told to give some out, if I remembered correctly. So that meant 4 of these were from that large batch. Then what about Rena? She probably only made 1. So she probably spent quite a bit of time on it. Meaning the one Rena had made was this one, E! For a moment, I thought I may have picked up a trap Mion laid as she knew I'd picked up on it, but that probably wasn't the case. I wouldn't be so sure if I knew Mion had made it, but since she said Rena made it, it probably wasn't a trap.
Alright, my tea is ready too. I'll start with the defending champ, Mion's grandma.
Not bad. The smooth bean paste and soft, chewy texture left little to be desired. The tea I drank afterwards also accentuated the experience. This was an exquisite piece of work. Now, how about Rena's? The creation was so delicate, one would think it was a high-class Japanese dessert. Since I normally had quite the appetite, I was slightly worried about the size of the portion. But, well, first a bite. This was quite a difficult one to judge, actually. The ingredients were exactly the same, so there was little difference in flavor. What was different was how it was shaped at the end, so it was to be expected. So the deciding factors would be presentation and volume. The well-formed and well-sized champion versus Rena the challenger with a size you just couldn't get enough of. I'd only had 1 bite of Rena's. I'd probably have to wait until after I was done eating to make my decision. Maybe there was something hidden inside that could cause an upset. Choo-choo. Seems my prediction was right. My tongue touched something. It didn't feel like something edible, so I reached in with my fingers and grabbed it. What? What was this? Before I could fully comprehend what it was, I threw away the rest of the mochi I was eating as fast as I could. It slammed against the wall, causing the bean jam to splatter. Then after sticking for a moment, it slid down to the floor. I was dumbstruck by my own actions. What was I doing? Rena had gone out of her way to make it for me. How could I? Dumbstruck, I looked down at the hand that performed such a vile act. Then I remembered what I had taken out of my mouth. At first I thought it was a hair. Even though it was shorter than Mion's, Rena's hair was still quite long, and it wasn't this short. It was also a bit too hard to be hair. It was thick enough to roll around on my tongue. There was a bit of a metallic sheen on one end of it. Ah, yes, there was a hole for where the thread goes through, like it was a sewing needle. Yes, that's right. It looked very much like a sewing needle. Exactly like one. The end was pointed as well. quite sharply. It really did look just like a sewing needle. Huh? What did I mean by it looked very much like a sewing needle just a bit ago? I couldn't answer. But a voice inside me already knew, and let me know by chattering my molars together. I couldn't stave off the terror welling up inside me. Suddenly, I tasted something metallic and felt a prickling pain at the back of my throat. I stuck my finger in the back of my mouth and felt around to see if it was bleeding. Suddenly, I felt the urge to vomit. A sharp taste of bile irritated the back of my throat. I clasped both hands over my mouth, and after writhing in agony, I was somehow able to hold back the nausea. I was finally able to breathe normally again, but this time my heart was intensely throbbing. Then it finally registered. Exactly what was mixed in with the mochi. Before I could think of the correct word, my hands were already on the move. Splat. Plop. Splort. I tossed the rest of the mochi against the wall. The geometrical patterns of the scattered bean jam on the wall suddenly invoked a terrible omen in my mind. After looking away, I dashed out of the hall and flew upstairs to my room, where I stayed under my covers until morning. I clutched my own shoulders, howling madly in a mix of fear, anger, sadness, and frustration. This wasn't a threat or a warning or reminder, nothing as simple as that. What had happened in Hinamizawa? What is happening in Hinamizawa? What would happen? I didn't know the answer to any of those questions. Where did I break a taboo? Regardless, now Rena and Mion and others, they consider me an enemy. And they thought I should just die. I won't let you kill me, not for such a pointless reason. I fell into a restless sleep as I was crushed by my negative emotions. It was as if I was being drawn into a billowing, bottomless marsh. So yeah, how about that sewing needle in the mochi?
Well, I was gonna think it was gonna be poison, not a simple sewing needle.
No, obviously. No, we found out that Rika is the one that uses poison. Rena apparently uses sewing needles.
Right.
Achievement unlocked, hard to swallow.
Oh God.
Well, save.
Yep, end of chapter 9.
Hot damn. We did it. We did it. There is murder. There's some freaky shit. People are getting yandere crazy. How about dem apples?
Crazy.
Worth the build up?
Holy shit.
Yeah, this is something, alright.
It escalated real quick. It was fine. It was nothing. And then literally, like,
Boom! Yandere
Creepy
and sewing
shit.
needles
Death
and mochi.
Mochi. Death and mochi.
Curses and people knowing shit they shouldn't know, and I'm at the combination sewing needle and poison murder scene. Whale plaid. Well, shit. Okay. Well, that happened.
It sure did.
Mm-hmm.
It sure did.
It sure did.
Okay. So, with that done, I think that's it for tonight. We will get back into the creepy paranoia, death, murder, sewing needle, I don't know.
Whatever the fuck all that shit is.
Mm-hmm. Next time. Which, I don't know. Y'all free next Sunday?
Probably.
I'm free every Sunday.
Cool. So, yeah, that should be fine then. So, I guess until then, we wait to see, what's gonna happen here. So, who can I send y'all to send a raid? To give, some, we have yet to die a horrible, painful death, yet. Which is great.
Yes.
Raid 2. Let's see. Now, I've heard a lot about Among Us, but this is a lot more in-depth than I expected. That...
Toga! Yes.
Welp.
This is the Among Us visual novel. It's slightly more in depth because they could, take the time and put more details.
Yep.
Let's go with that. Shit.
Yeah, we'll go with that. So, I made a new friend recently from VR Chat Guild who is on doing roleplay stuff. Gataverse, Olivia Cowery, who did a cool thing last night where her character got overtaken by a fae. So let's send some love her way. Thank you, Tommy. Yes, there's a raid call. And raid call if you're subbed. So until next time, friends. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you again, David and Kayla, for the help. Oh, my throat's feeling it right now.
Of course, always fun.
Good times.
Me too, man. I had to talk a lot of just me talking back and forth today.
I feel that.
I don't.
I'm sorry, Kayla. Oh, I think we should get more people, like everyone in on this, I think. Next time, if I'm probably not remembering correctly, but yeah. So until next time, friends, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Don't eat any mochi with needles in it, or make sure to check your mochi for needles. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you next time. Bye! What is
I'm a badass asexual polyhedral dice holder. I'm proud to be